I'm like, hallelujah, praise God, Almighty, the Most High, Alpha and Omega in the sky. I'm like, hallelujah, praise God, Almighty, the Most High, Alpha and Omega in the sky. I'm like,
made in the image of God with a blunt in my mouth and a bitch on the side. Hold up, wait a minute, my life need a massage. Happy ending with a money menage. Me dirt broke, that's a money mirage. Run on my city like I'm the Wizard of Oz. Everybody wanna know what I devise. Everybody wanna know, yeah.
I'm like, hallelujah.
Got a new vision, everybody listen. Fuck around, I got a new religion. What it is, and all of that revision. Get the fuck about that prison. It's obvious, the body is the cracker. The worse it is, what hurts it is, the blacker. Everybody acting like your brain don't matter. Mind over matter, let's be talking brain matter. Acting like you never seen an ass way fatter. Bitch way better, mind in the gutter. Food for thought, yeah, that's the pan with the butter. Talking shit, you get hit like what up? I just wanna do it, but I can't. World wanna tell me what I ain't. Far from a saint. Come now, just let that boy paint. Let a motherfucker like this live. Yeah. Let me show him what I gotta give. Let a motherfucker like this live. Like, made in the image of God. Can you feel the vibe? Motherfucker, is you ready to ride? Is you ready to die like B.I.G., the VIP, the greatest of all time, or B.I.L.E., C.I.B., the cost of living, it ain't free. So the tab on me, feeling like the man got tabs on me. Wonder if I only had brags on me. Would you love me, want me here with this, I know. Funny thing is I don't even know. All I get to have and all I have to give is what my God will give. Yeah, let me show him what I gotta give. Let a motherfucker like this live. Like
I'm like, hallelujah, praise God, Almighty, the Most High, Alpha and Omega in the sky. I'm like, hallelujah, praise God, Almighty, the Most High, Alpha and Omega in the sky. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, on my mind is going like, whoa. I've been thinking, praying, hoping, training, it won't go. I know my mind alright. I know my mind alright. Do you know it? Your way. Do it your way. Do it your way. Do it.
This is beyond the flesh. This is beyond the flesh. This is from the soul and for the soul.
I'm like,
This is for all my brothers and sisters, for all my children. This is for every race. This is for every color, every creed. Music does not discriminate. Music is made to assimilate. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. And so are you.
strolling down the highway. Strolling.
I saw some criticism. People say the punches weren't really necessary. Maybe
They were super necessary.
why were they necessary?
What do you mean, why were they not necessary?
Because he was already knocked out at that point.
But the referee hadn't pulled me off. And my job is to hit somebody till the referee pulls me off. So to those people, I would say maybe don't watch MMA, go back to soccer.
it's a domino. You know what I mean? You never really know with Zach Wilson. Is he going to land? It's a coin flip. Is it heads or is it tails? You know what I'm saying?
Credit to Josh Jacobs being that man is to our O-line, who is one of the best in the league and the most expensive.
The West is just so much better than the East. Look at the Nuggets. We're in the 5th spot in the West, 9 games over 500.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. I'm your host, Eric Holmes. Joined along with me today, as always, Justin Sanchez and Jello Rexroad. How you boys doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm well, man. I'm ready to get it poppin'. Today on the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, we are filled with a lot of sports drama, man. Whether it's UFC 261 from last night, whether it's the newest and upcoming NFL or NBA news. We got to get all the NBA and NFL news out before this NFL draft on Thursday. Our draft night extravaganza is going to be wild looking at it. But man, let's get started. Little J6, welcome to the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, man. I appreciate you for commenting, tuning in. For everyone who is tuning in, Big Blue J 92, yup. What up, Big Blue J 92? Appreciate you for tuning in, bro. Everyone for watching and tuning in, please go follow and subscribe to us on Twitch and YouTube, and then go follow us on all social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of that, whether it's me, Justin, Jello. All of us are very active on social media, so please go ahead and follow us on social media before we get started, man. But you are watching the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. Man, let's get right into it, bro. I'm excited to start talking about it. Justin, I know you're excited to talk about this, Jello. I don't know if you watched these fights last night, but, man, UFC.
I watched the main event, but that was about it.
Bro, UFC 261, Usman versus Masvidal 2. We had Nama Nunez, or how do you say her name? Nama Nunez?
Yeah, Nama Yunus.
And then we had Justin, go ahead and finish it off.
All right, yeah. You got Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade. Then you had Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas. And then you had the killer, Kamaru Usman, versus another killer, the baddest mother effer, Jorge Masvidal. That was their second fight. So
yeah, second fight. And if you guys don't know, let me catch you guys up on a little bit of history that's happened between them. I think they fought like a month and a half ago. 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's crazy the way that these fighters
2 to 3 or
something like that. It was definitely either late 2020 or early 2021. I believe it was early 2021.
Because Kamaru fought Masvidal. And then fought Burns, because Burns and Kamaru were supposed to fight, and then Burns got COVID. So Masvidal stepped in with a 6-day notice, their first fight, and then
6 days.
6 day, and then they went all 5 rounds. So this time, obviously, they both had time to train for each other.
Yeah, he had 6 weeks to train for this one.
But yeah, so Masvidal or Kamaru Usman fought Gilbert Burns like a month and a half ago or 2.5 months ago. So it had to have been 3 or 4 months ago.
Like I said, it might have been like January 2021 or late 2020. So like Justin said, 3-4 months ago, they fought the first time. Street Jesus, my boy Masvidal, he took the fight on a 6-day notice. They went all 5 rounds, like Justin said. Usman ended up winning because of decision, and then the excuses and rumors started flying from there. It was, oh, he only had 6 days. If he had more time to train, he would have won that. Or he didn't hit that hard, yada, yada, yada. You heard what Masvidal said. He probably had the weakest hitting power that he's ever seen. And then they fought last night after a 6-week training fight. And this one was not good, man. They lined up. They didn't shake hands. And then, unfortunately for me and Justin, the way we watched the fights, both of our stuff cut out. Both of our damn things cut out. So literally, as soon as the fighters are walking out, Justin sits on his remote. His stream cuts out. My stuff starts freezing on my computer, so I refresh it. Mine cuts out. And I'm sitting here freaking out. I know Justin's freaking out. We're trying to watch the main event. Neither of us can get to it. We see on Twitter, what a KO by Usman, yada, yada, yada. So we turn it on. The stream comes back on for both of us. There must have been like millions of people watching that, and that's probably why it cut out or something like that. But, dude, it was wild. We ended up seeing the knockout. He punched through Street Jesus's soul, dog. And if you've seen this, he has a strong jaw. Masvidal can take a hit. Everyone knows he's only had one TKO knockout or TKO loss in his career. So he can definitely stand with the best of them, take the best of the punches. But last night, Usman punched through this guy's soul. You literally seen the sweat, the tears, the snot, the spit all fly out of his mouth. It was ridiculous, man. So Usman stays champion. The fight before that was my favorite female fighter in my lifetime, Rose Namajunas. Thug Rose, she went up against Justin's. I guess this is Justin's like tank fighter. Justin and Haley were like, I got this girl. She looks like a mean one. You seen the highlights. She did look mean. I was a little nervous, but I definitely had my confidence in Thug Rose. And she ended up kicking her right in her face, knocking her out first round, and ended up winning the title. She was very emotional after that. But one thing I do want to show you about those two fights specifically is how both either Rose Namajunas handled her win or Jorge Masvidal handled his loss. They both handled it really well. So, man, we'll start with Rose, and then we'll go to Jose. Handled that beautifully. All the emotion running through her, running through the crowd. It made me honestly a little emotional watching it. Not even because that's my favorite female fighter, but like I said, because of the way she handled it. She handled it like a true champ. Not to say anything about the Chinese girl, but she was kind of crying about it a little bit. A lot of people say she was out. A lot of people say she wasn't. I think she was done. Yeah, I think they called it at the right time, bro. Like, she was like, they called it too early. Like, bro, if you've seen it, you got kicked in the face. You folded backwards on your legs, and then she hammer fisted you. Like, it was literally, it was a knockout for sure.
She showed like.
Yeah, dude, it was nasty. I freaked out when that happened too, dude. I was going crazy. But let me show you guys the way Masvidal handled his after fight press conference. So before I talk about that, one quick announcement I have. Shout out to the Backshot Podcast. I just won a free UFC 261 t-shirt from their podcast giveaway for picking the correct winners in the main event. You know what I mean? I picked all 3 correct winners. I was hot with it. You already know what it is. So I usually would say rock with Justin, but Justin was off.
I was off yesterday.
He was really off last night. I think, what did you go?
2-12.
2-12. That was what Justin went in the fights last night, Jello.
Or I went 3-11 or 4-11 or so. I stopped counting because I was just tanking. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness. I did like my research. I've watched some of those fighters before. I just thought, those guys are gonna come in clutch. I could talk on some of them if you want that I thought were just gonna go my way that didn't.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is, I guess in this case, it's any given Saturday. UFC last night was wild. 2 people, like the first fight that like started the main event. So the dude it was honestly a good fight. These dudes were throwing hands. The dude got kicked in the back of the knee and his leg went numb. He just started collapsing. And then he started fighting him or whatever, got back up, round ended. Coming out of the round, he was still like falling on his leg. And the doctor was like, yeah, no, sir, absolutely not. I'm calling the fight. Next fight, dude, who was an Anderson Silva when Anderson Silva wrapped his leg around him. Anderson Silva broke his leg on this dude's leg. This dude goes in there, drops a kick, like the first kick of the fight, breaks his leg on Uriah Hall's leg. Like
Chris
literally,
Weidman.
Chris Weidman literally snapped his damn leg, dog. Bro, so I'm so glad. I was looking through them. I was like, I don't think I put any pictures up of that, but it was not pretty. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't.
In the slow-mo, it's really bad because he kicks the leg and his like freaking leg breaks around it, and then when he comes back the other way and hits the canvas, his leg goes up under him again. Like, it was the worst thing to watch. Like, I don't ever want to watch that again unless like it's just on replay or something. Like, I would never go out of my way to see that again.
Look it up. Believe me, they don't got it nowhere on YouTube. I kind of went out of my way to see if they had it somewhere yesterday, and they did not have it. So, but this is the thing is like everyone who was watching it live, I literally looked at Haley and I was like, do you think they're going to replay it? And the announcers were like, we're going to replay it 2 or 3 times. Viewer discretion is advised. I was like, no shit. Like, viewer discretion. I'm surprised you guys like didn't like go straight to commercial. You know what I mean? Like literally one of these situations. And just fucking cut the whole stream off. You know what I mean? Like it was nasty, bro.
That was really bad.
Yeah, Chris Wiseman, heal up. Everyone here at the Rick T Podcast. We definitely hope that you heal up 100% and fast too, because that was cruel. But all the fights last night, 261 was an outstanding night. And like I said, shout out to the Backshot Podcast. They said last night was legendary card, first sold out crowd since the beginning of the COVID era. Domination, Thug Rose shocks the world. Usman with the crazy KO was a great event, and the t-shirt is a good one to have. Congratulations, Eric. So I appreciate you guys at the Backshot Podcast. We're gonna turn off for you guys for a second.
Southside with an F because I'm fresh.
And take care serious when you game.
Southside with an F because I'm fresh. Trying to make my mama proud.
No, I'm just playing. Let's turn it down. But let's get into some NFL topics, shall we? Because we have some good ones today on the card. I think it was on Wednesday or last week on the Rick T Podcast. I was talking about players and the jersey numbers getting approved for single digits. But the deal with that is players have to buy their existing jersey inventory if they want to change their number this year. And let me tell you, a lot of players were pissed about that, but a lot of players were pissed about the whole jersey number change in general. So let me just show you guys what Tom Brady said. The NFL said approved and relaxation of rule numbers that players of certain positions can wear because of extended practice squads. Whoa, Facebook's acting up. Practice squads, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defensive backs, and linebackers can all wear numbers in the single digits now if they want. Tom Brady said, why not let the linemen wear what they want too? Why have numbers? Just have colored jerseys. Why not wear the same number? That is so dumb at NFL and at NFLPA. So he is pissed. Darius Leonard also said they just want our money, but that's why they find us so heavy for bowl like socks and cleats. Jerry Jeudy also said, wow. And on top of that topic, changing a number would cost Dalvin Cook in the range of $1.5 million if the Vikings running back decided to change his number from 33 to number 4 like he was in college. But the deal with that is that's only this year. If you would decide to change your number next year, it won't cost you anything. It's only this year. And I believe it's because they already have jersey inventory out, jerseys selling, stuff like that. People have already spent their money on your jerseys. So if you want to get out of that bind, you're going to have to pay for it. So let me ask you, Justin, how are you feeling on this whole situation with the jersey number? Do you think it's a good idea, or are you like Tom Brady? Are you pissed about it?
Right. I think it's just fine. I think people or the players should have the ability to choose whatever number they want. And I believe that this jersey rule that they have to buy out the existing inventory is just a set-in rule in the NFL in general. Like if a player wanted to change his number, he would have to buy out the inventory already. So it's not like anything that they just put on for this. And something I'm curious is how many rookies are going to, do this number change, or, you know what I mean? How many are they allowed
they're
to?
single digit. I think they can just keep single digits if they want, because they don't have to buy anything out.
Right. So they can just come straight into the league number 8. So regardless, we're gonna see that this year, and I can see some players buying it out this year and switching their number. Josh Jacobs was talking about it, but I don't think he will with Marcus Mariota being 8, and everybody's spending their money on his jersey. But yeah, man, I think it's fine. I think people should have the ability to do whatever they want. They're ballers on the field, and I think it's gonna be cool to have those jerseys too.
Oh, I think it'll be a great idea to have those single digit numbers, but I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of a love-hate relationship because I was never a single digit number in high school or anything like that. I don't really feel too strongly about single digits, but I know a lot of these players, they feel strongly about these single digit numbers. They feel strongly about their numbers. If you guys remember Matt Moore, I'm pretty sure in a Watson locker room, he cried over 44 in like 7th, 8th grade, didn't he? It was ridiculous. You know what I mean? So maybe to some players, maybe to some people, numbers mean more to others. To me, it was never a truly big deal. But Jello, let me ask you, man, how are you feeling about this whole single digit or jersey numbers being approved from the NFL and the NFLPA? Are you like a lot of players who are cool with it? You're fine with it, with the whole buying out your inventory thing? Like Justin said, it was already a set rule. Or are you like Tom Brady and you just think the whole idea is dumb?
Well, so I know why Tom Brady thinks it's dumb at this point. It's all due to refs at that point. It's really like if somebody is it going to be a legal block? Like it's all just telltale with the numbers. But these refs are getting paid 6 figures all day long. They can figure out numbers, getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. So I know that's the big thing there. But I agree with the players. They should be able to. I don't get this. It's a jersey number. Like they should be able to wear what cleats they want, what socks they want. The NFL is just weird. The NFL just seems like the higher ups, at least, just be like, it's going to be what I want, and that's it. Like, it's 2021. It's the times are changing. It is not the 70s. It's not the 80s. Like, there's new things to wear. There's like Marshawn and Skittles, man. Like that should have never happened. For example, like that should have never been a thing. But it seems like the NFL is kind of like that grandfather that like is slowly, very slowly coming around to things. And Tom Brady's mad because he's next up to be the grandpa at that point. Because I mean, he's in his 40s. He has no grasp and concept of what 20, 21-year-olds are thinking. He really doesn't. And he has teammates that age, and he's not really picking that up. He's just mad because he won't be able to get as many calls for himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Left penalties for him, whatnot, or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's fine. The refs can adapt. If players adapt to what the NFL wants to do, these highly paid refs can adapt to a number. Like, it's really not that hard. People are freaking out about it. They're like, but the numbers, there's going to be all these extra calls, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like,
bro, Tom Brady was complaining about his O-lineman not knowing who to block. He's like, what if they think the number one's a DB and they end up missing him and he's a linebacker? Like,
these players memorize an entire playbook. They can figure out numbers. You know who you block? The guy that's running at you.
Or fill your hole. Do your damn job.
Right. Maybe that's like a Tom Brady trick, though. Maybe he does like have that number in his head. You know what I mean? Like where he can memorize it and like see it coming or something. You know, maybe it's something weird Tom Brady does that memorizes numbers. And then now that they're like, usually he's like, oh, I'm not going to see no number one. Just kickers are number one. And then now freaking,
Devin White's coming after him.
JC Horn's going to come into the league and be number one. And he's going to be like,
sorry to interrupt, Jasmine.
Oh, no, you're fine.
All these players deal with this in college too. So how can you know it in college, but all of a sudden NFL, you're making all this money, now you don't know. Right. There's that as well. I mean, let the players do what they want. Shit. I want to see a player be 00. I want to see I want to see someone be player 100 at this point. Like
That was Justin's number, 00 for like how long?
I don't get why it's such a big thing at this point.
Yeah, man.
Dude, like all these highly educated, highly paid, like most of these dudes are highly educated. Learning numbers should not be an issue at this point.
Yeah.
Like
It won't be.
in college, you're like, oh, number one was the DB. Oh, now in the NFL, oh, he's number one. How am I going to know? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it's acting like everybody's going to change their number. Probably not.
Right.
A lot of people aren't with it. You know what I mean? And like I said, this year you're going to have to pay out for your stuff, but next year not. My honest opinion on the whole thing is I think Tom Brady is overreacting. I think it's literally, like Justin Angelo said, it's just a jersey number. It's not a big deal. Like Justin said, though, maybe it's a Tom Brady thing where he memorizes numbers or he does something with players' numbers. I have no idea. I'm not in Tom Brady's mind, nor will he probably ever tell us until a Tom Brady documentary comes out in 25 years. But dude, I think the whole thing is being overtaken by a lot of players in the NFL. Like Justin said, I don't think a lot of players will even change their numbers. I think the most common players to have those single digit numbers this year will be college players. And then from that point on, it'll probably just be the players that already have the single digit numbers or the ones coming in. I don't think the players that are already in the NFL or the vets are going to go ahead and change their number. Like Stephon Diggs said, Dalvin Cook was going to go to number 4. Players have spent their hard-earned money on number 33 jerseys. Why would you do that? Players and people, and you did jersey swaps. Those jersey swaps don't mean anything to me. Like if I did a jersey swap with, let's say, Dalvin Cook for a 33 jersey, he had a great year and then changes his number to 4. I feel like that jersey swap is kind of pointless. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's part of my purpose. A lot of, like I said, though, a lot of these players take their numbers seriously, though. So I guess we'll kind of see. I think it'll be interesting to see, though, this year when I see the first linebacker or tight end that's number like 2. And I'm going to be like, oh, man, the NFL, this is a new world. Like, it's going to be crazy to see. But like I said, I think the NFL and Tom Brady and a lot of people are just overreacting to this whole situation. Hold on, real quick. And it was proposed by the Ravens too, I believe. Or it was the Chiefs. The Chiefs proposed this rule or jersey rule number. So I'm interested to see who changes their numbers on that team specifically.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Swap thing, this is the thing. I think it means more. So if Cook would go to 4, now you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna have to swap in another one, and now I got both Cook's jerseys. So that's the thing too. It's just like it's a jersey. So for example, the number doesn't mean shit. The name on the back is really what matters there. So
right.
I mean, we've seen how many people buy the college jersey, for example, and then they buy the NFL one. Or even Kobe, for example, you have a jersey change there. There's other sports where it happens all the time. Nobody ever has an issue with it. I know jerseys are expensive, but I mean,
if you're a true fan,
I'm like they're not that bad, to be honest.
Well, you get the new number, now you got both. You got the old and you got the new, so there's that aspect to it.
And I personally think that it's going to elevate some players' gameplay because, you know what I mean? Like, look good, play good, feel good, all that. You know, some players, you know, they're young, they get thrown on a team, and sometimes, you know, that veteran has that number 25, like Richard Sherman or somebody, and you're like, oh, man, I can't get that. But now you can get your college number, be number 3 or whatever, and ball out.
And there's a receiver out there, I forget who it is, but it was big talk about him switching his number because his mom, who has now passed away, picked his number for him in high school. Like apparently went to the coach, like he's got to be this number, and so it means more to him, and that's where you'll see jersey changes. It's not just going to be blatant; it's going to be numbers that mean something to somebody. Because if they're going to play, why not play with the number that means more than anything to them?
Yeah,
it's a little weird. His mom went to the coach.
Right.
But
yes. What?
I said it's a little weird. His mom went to the coach.
Well, I mean, there's issues. So at Heritage, there's big issues with jersey numbers. Like you got what you got, and that was it. And like I saw kids get hit over jersey numbers.
Yeah.
Which gave to somebody else, and it was just a...
Yeah, people get mad.
Yeah, I was like, this is high school. Why can't kids just pick the jersey numbers? But apparently, it's whatever. But, I mean, you're not going to see any young guys doing it. There's no way they're affording it at this point. But I could see some vets doing it. Vets. Well, I mean, there's a lot of vets.
Well, like I said, the young guys really, unless you've been in the, like, say you're Justin Jefferson, of course you're gonna have to buy your inventory. Like people have bought your jersey, you've been in the NFL. But if you're an upcoming receiver in the draft, you don't got to pay nothing.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think it'll be cool.
Seeing a lot of these guys on draft day actually wearing that number 1 jersey.
Right. Yeah. Like it's a real number.
I know. I've always thought that was weird. Like a D lineman gets like drafted first overall, and they're holding the number 1 jersey, and now they can wear it if they want. Like that can be their number if they truly want to. Speaking of the draft, though, let me get into this. Speaking of the draft, bruh, Roger Goodell can hug. Players can hug Roger Goodell at the 2021 draft. The commissioner has been vaccinated. I know that's not a big deal, but for some reason, I feel like that will make like our draft extravaganza so much better. Like TV behind me, and you just see a man like hug Roger. I'm gonna be like, man, we are back. The draft is here. This is real. These players just got drafted. They got their hat, their jersey, their hug from the commissioner. Stuff is back to somewhat normal, you can say. You know what I mean? Last year with the virtual draft, Roger Goodell was sitting in that weird ass living room, talking funny, calling people's names. They were in their own homes. And now a lot of players will still be in their homes, but a lot of players will be at the draft giving this man a hug. So that's exciting. I know that's a lot of players' dreams. I know a lot of people are like, man, I just want to make the combine. But after that, what do you think of? Like getting drafted, but what do you do at the draft? You go up there, you get your jersey, you dap up the commissioner, and bam, like your dream has come true. You know what I'm saying? But to add on to that, Albert Breer, he said NFL teams didn't get an athletic testing numbers from the Indy Medical Combine earlier this month, but they did get measurements, and that meant finally got Alabama wide receiver Devontae Smith on a scale. Per sources, the Heisman winner checked in at 6 foot, 166 pounds, dog. Like this guy is literally our size. You know what I mean? He won the Heisman though, so obviously he can do it. His comments to that, he said, "There's nothing I can't do. You can put me in the slot, you can put me outside, you can put me on special teams. I can do everything. Just put the ball in my hands and let me do what I do." This guy said Devontae Smith is about to be the Kevin Durant of the NFL. Skinny but will drop to 150 yards and 3 touchdowns on your favorite DB. And that's what he looked like at the national championship, man. So he's definitely a small guy. Let's start with you, Jello. How do you feel Devontae Smith's size will affect him in the NFL? Do you think it's a big factor, being that he's a Heisman winner and all? You know what I mean? He obviously has the talent, but do you think size is going to really hurt him in the NFL? Or do you think it's just another player, another receiver, no thing?
I mean, not at all. Like, if you scroll through like a list of NFL receivers and not even their weight, but their height, different stuff like that, I think you would see more people like Smith that you didn't think of at first. I mean, yeah, he's 166 pounds, and he might be 6 foot, but why does that matter when the man can jump and the man can run right past you? It doesn't matter about getting hit if he's going to be 10 yards in front of you. And look at a lot of these DBs. There's a lot of 5'8", 5'9" DBs right around that 160, 170 mark. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. There's no linebackers that are going to be in coverage on him. There's no way that's going to happen. I mean, unless you want a free touchdown at that point. But so it's just going to be D-back safeties. I don't think he has anything to worry about. Man can take a hit. Man can drop that shoulder and let you have it. And, I mean, look at the yards of separation he had in college. He could easily do that in the NFL against a lot of these poor DBs that are still starting right now. So I don't think he's going to have an issue whatsoever. A lot of people keep hating, but a lot of people hated on Mahomes too, and look where that's at. A lot of people hated on a lot of players that are killing it right now. So I think Smith's just going to be another one of those guys. He's going to get picked up late, and it's going to be the smartest decision that team ever made.
Yeah, I can honestly agree with that. Justin, how are you feeling about Devontae Smith's size? Do you think the size will be a really big factor in the NFL, or do you think it's just another receiver ain't no thing?
Yeah, man. Tyreek Hill, Brandon Cooks, Deshaun Jackson, Cole Beasley, Hunter Renfrow is returning punts, bro. That dude he is small, man. It makes me nervous when he's taking back kicks. It really does, because he gets popped sometimes. But they have that heart. They have that drive. Devontae Smith is a former Heisman winner. He's going to come with that chip on his shoulder, with that Heisman in his hand, ready to ball out. And I think that this guy, Devontae Smith, he's gonna come in, and he played at Alabama, where you got the wide receiver number 5, 5th wide receiver on the depth chart is probably better than number 1 at most schools. You know what I mean? Or that like Daily Sporting said, he can add some weight, and that's what's gonna happen. But like I said, he's gonna come with that chip on his shoulder. He's an Alabama wide receiver, an Alabama player, coming straight from Nick Saban to the NFL. He's going to play hard, and he's going to give it all 100%, and size don't matter with this guy.
So first things first, and that was very well said. Shout out to the Daily Sporting. Welcome to the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2, bro. We appreciate your comment. We appreciate your view. And we love that you support us, so we'll support you right back. Appreciate it, man. But I can agree with what you and Jello were saying, but I also have a very strong disagreement with his weight. And my thing being is he's been at Alabama since he was a freshman. Everyone's seen when they won the national championship. It was like freshman to freshman, Tua to Devontae Smith, in the corner of the end zone, late game win. It was crazy. But my thing is that he's at the Alabama University where they build the greatest football players ever. Wouldn't they have already put weight on this guy? Why would you wait until the NFL to put weight on this guy? And I get he's fast, he's smaller. At college is a little bit easier. But I just don't know. As a Nick Saban, if I was Nick Saban personally, I'd be like, okay, this guy is going to be great, but let's get him a little bit thicker. You know what I mean? I don't want to see this guy get hurt. I don't want to see this guy not get drafted early because of his size. Why not? Let's put some weight on this guy. You know what I mean? And now the question is, they're just going to put weight on him in the NFL and yada, yada, yada. But that's my thing is I agree with that. They're going to put weight on him in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. But why didn't they do it at Alabama is my question. Was it a speed factor? Was it just like he's already too nice, we don't need to change him at all? What do you think, Jello?
All right, so this is a big thing, like the Hill comparison Justin made. For Alabama, this is the thing. Why would they add weight when the man had more speed than anything at that point? The yards of separation were more than any receiver in college football last year, for example. Why would you add weight and make him slower when what he's doing is already working? If it's not broke, don't fix it. I think it's exactly how it's going to be in the NFL. People have said that with many receivers about adding weight, but nowadays it's not about, it's not hard-nosed. It's not going helmet to helmet every single play. As these receivers, what teams want is for them to get the separation. They want him to be faster. They want him to avoid these hits. That's exactly what he can do at the size he's at now. Everyone says he's going to add weight. It's not going to be much. I put 5-10 pounds max with him. They don't.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to gain much weight either way, even if they try.
You got your tight ends. Those are your big guys. Your receivers are your faster guys at that point. That's exactly what Smith brings to the table. It's why Nick Saban never did anything. Once again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, as he is right now, he will do just fine.
Right.
A lot of these guys who are talking about, like people like Smith, for example, are guys that don't get off their couch more than like once a week. So there's that as well.
I'm talking about him, and I get off my couch more than once a week. I may be the only sports analyst that doesn't think that he'll be that great. You know what I mean? I just, to be honest, don't think that he'll be a very great receiver. I think Jamar Chase is easily a better receiver in this situation now.
Well,
I think
Chase is better, yes. And he's dynamic, but every receiver is good in their own way, the ones that succeed, and Smith will succeed.
We got a caller. Oh, we did. Oh, we got a caller.
Oh,
we got a caller. Caller, welcome to the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. Where are you calling from?
Your mom's house. Was your brother.
Hey, Jay. I was like, the disrespect. My mom's house. Oh, what do you want to talk about today, brother?
Where do you think Devontae Smith will end up in the draft?
Where do I think Devontae Smith will end up in the draft? That's a great question. To be honest, Jalen, and I'm gonna hang up just because it's easier to do it when you're off the phone. So I'll answer your question right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Appreciate it.
What up, Jay?
What up, Jay? Appreciate the call, man. For those of you, if you have a question or topic you would like to discuss, call into the show anytime to ask your question or spill your opinion live on the show at 719-210-3563, just like Jalen did. But Jalen, honestly, where do I think Devontae Smith will end up in the draft? So I don't think he will go in the top 10. And I know that was a couple weeks ago, that was a lot of players' mock drafts, is that he will probably go 8 to the Lions or 9 to Carolina. But to be honest, I think that's why I see Jason piping him up so much, is I see him going to the Giants at 11 or the Eagles at 12. I think he will drop past Dallas at 10. We don't need another receiver. We have CD, and that's fine. I'm fine with CD. But I think that the Giants are probably going to pull the trigger and get another receiver, which I think he'll probably fit the best with the Giants because they have a receiving core now. They have a running back who's getting healthy. They have a quarterback who can get them the ball. That team is starting to look good. You know what I mean? And I'm a Dallas fan saying that. But I do think he will go to the Giants at 11 or the Eagles at 12. So I think he'll be in the NFC East. I think Dallas will have to go against him twice a year, which is why I think maybe I downplay him a little bit. You know what I mean? Justin, what do you think on Jalen's question? Where do you think that he'll go in the draft?
Right. So I think 2 receivers are going to go ahead of him for sure. So I do think he's going to be definitely not top 10 because I think Jamar Chase will go off the board before him. And then Elijah Moore will go off the board before him. So
we got another caller real quick.
Okay.
God damn. What up, Pops?
Put me on the podcast, brother.
You want to get the link?
Oh, well, no, I'm saying call in.
Oh,
wrong number.
You are on the podcast. What up, man? What you want to talk about?
What's going on?
Oh, what do I want to talk about?
Yeah, what's up?
I want to talk about Devontae Smith.
Okay, what do you want to talk about him about? Where do you think he's going?
You know what? I don't know where he's going to go, but the question is, with his size, it doesn't matter. The man can play ball, so it doesn't matter where he goes. He's going to be a damn good football player. That's it.
Honestly, I don't think so.
So
Hater.
look at you first. You were small. You could play.
But I was thick, Dad. You know me. They couldn't take me down.
Toothpick.
You hit me on a quick screen. I was bullying through linebackers.
You got smaller receivers than Devontae Smith in the NFL. Look at Steve Smith.
True.
Honestly,
Steve Smith's one that we didn't talk about.
Thing with Devontae Smith, and this is where I feel like Jello and you were getting at, is you guys think that him being small helps his speed, and his speed is what kills. My thing is not even Tyreek Hill is that light. Tyreek Hill is shorter.
It's like 180.
Yeah, but Tyreek Hill is not 166 is my point. You add 180 on Devontae Smith, we'll have a different conversation. But until then, it's just way too small for me. And I don't think that he's going to be outrunning these NFL DBs the way he's outrunning these college DBs. So I don't think that his speed, his lightness is going to help him very much in the situation.
A lot of these college DBs are going to be
pulling these DBs and safeties. I mean, it's going to be crazy wherever he goes and wherever he plays, he's going to be a damn good football player. He's going to be killing corners, safeties. He's going to be taking everything from them. So you better be ready. I'm telling you right now. You better hope he don't go to South Beach.
No, I was about to ask you. So let me ask you. You guys got what? You guys are at 6, right?
Yep.
Miami's sitting at 6. Say Jamar Chase is on the board and you guys take Devontae Smith. Are you happy about that?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm happy with any of the four. You can give us Chase, Smith, Waddle, or Kyle
Pitts,
the tight end.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts. That's basically a receiver.
Yeah, we'll take him. But you know what? I think Jalen Waddle is the overall best receiver in the draft.
Is he healthy?
Yep.
Good question. I don't know, Shelby. I don't know. But see, Miami likes playing that games with these players that are injured. Just look at Tua.
I was about to say, yeah, Tua. Tua came out with a broken hip, and you guys were like, "Yep, number 4, give me him."
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's Brian Flores.
Hey, things happen. But Pops, I appreciate your call. Thanks for talking about Devontae Smith for us for a second, man.
Welcome. See y'all later.
See you later, man. Have a good
See you. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you to my Pops for calling into the Rick T podcast. Talked a lot about Devontae Smith, his size, but let's move on a little bit just because we need to keep this train rolling. A lot of these players, upcoming drafted players, everyone knows that there's always a little bit of drama between these players. I'm the best quarterback. I'm the best DB. Oh, he's calling back. Hold on.
He does every time.
What's up?
And by the way, I'm calling from your dad's house.
You're calling from your Stupid. Then he just hung up, bro. I'm calling from your dad's house. Click. He's a clown, bro. That was funny as hell. But like I was saying, a lot of these players are going, I'm the best quarterback. I'm the best receiver. I'm the best running back. And that's cool to say. But when it comes down to, I feel like certain positions, that's when it gets more real. You know what I mean? I feel like it gets real at the quarterback position. When you say that I'm the best quarterback in this draft, people start looking at everybody. Like, is he the best quarterback? How are you reacting to it? I feel like another position that happens too is DBs, man. According to the Dallas Cowboys squad, and you guys know I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and we are looking at DBs. An interview with Cowboys front office, South Carolina cornerback J.C. Horn called himself the best corner in this draft class, saying the way he competes is day and night different than Alabama's Patrick Surtain. I'm the best corner in this draft class, hands down, he said. A lot of players have been saying that J.C. Horn is a better cornerback than Patrick Surtain, and if I look at the film, I honestly agree. J.C. Horn is a better overall cornerback. Like, he can move, he has better hands. But then when I look at size difference, and we're on this size difference, Patrick Surtain is like 6'1", 230. Like, he's a bigger corner. You know what I mean? He can hit. He can play the coverage a lot better than J.C. Horn, I believe. But my thing is he opt out, so not a lot of players get to see him this past year. And that's the same with Penei Sewell. And that's also what Rashawn Slater is saying. I'm the best tackle in this draft.
No.
And he's from Northwestern, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back to J.C. Horn, the only wide receiver to ever record 50-plus yards in a game against J.C. Horn was Devontae Smith, and he only recorded 60 yards. So J.C. Horn, man, that's a 4-year career, and the highest receiver, a Heisman winner who's going to go, not according to us, top 10, but according to a lot of people, top 10. He's only scored only put up 60 yards on you, and that's it, and that's the highest. Jello, swinging it to you, man. How do you feel about this DB situation? I know I'm kind of asking a Dallas Cowboys situation to a Denver Bronco fan, but just put you guys in this situation. If you guys were going for a Pat Surtain or a J.C. Horn, and this drama was going on, how are you feeling about it? Who do you think is the best corner in this draft? How are you just feeling about this situation?
I mean, talk is cheap. It's a done. So, I mean, this is that thing. Players can talk all they want, but it's the tape that is the magic at that point, which is why I think Surtain's going to go off the board first. So this was a situation where, they were talking about, I mean, it's all draft talk at this point. Let's speak of the Broncos. They went from, all right, we're going to get Surtain. Okay, we're going quarterback. All right, now we're going to trade for Bridgewater, and we could go Micah Parsons at 9. This is that big thing. Talk is cheap. And this is the thing. J.C. Horn talking could mean he could drop as well. And this is a true statement.
A lot of teams don't like that.
The more teams are like, all right, is he going to work or is he just going to talk the whole time? How's this going to go down the line, for example? There's certain coaches and teams out there that don't like talk. It's just how it is. It's unfortunate. There's a lot of talk, I think, that's needed and is deserved. But, just coming out and being, yo, I'm the best. To me, and to a lot of people, it shows, okay, they're worried about dropping, so they're just going to push themselves as hard as they can, which why not? That's why Rashawn Slater's doing it, because he knows he's not even close to where Sewell's at. Anybody would be dumb not to get him at this point. Screw your left tackle now, move him over one spot and put Sewell there.
I was going to say, if any team, and I know this is a real possibility, even if the Dallas, say crazy draft night happened and Swell dropped to Dallas and we picked him, it would piss me off because a lot of teams, including Dallas, are going to put him at guard. And that's not where I see him.
No team's going to put him at guard.
He's too thin. I've heard a lot of teams, like if the Lions, they said if they get him, they're putting him at guard. The Jets said if they get him, they're going to put him at right tackle, which I'm okay with that. But at the same time, it's like, just keep him at his position.
They have Becton, no, he's staying left tackle. Any team would be dumb. And that's the Jets and the Lions. So look at their previous decisions, and we'll just leave it at that. By the way, I'm putting Smith to the Eagles at this point. Or you got to remember, Carolina's trying to trade from 8. What team out there would trade up for Smith? There's still a few out there, so there's that as well. The Lions are dumb, so who knows? They'll probably pick up some 6th round guy in the first.
I think if anyone trades into the top 10, and unfortunately, it's going to be the Pats.
It's going to
be the Baltimore Ravens.
They already got 2 draft picks in the first now.
That's what I'm saying. I think they might trade up.
Flip both of them for one.
The Patriots only want to trade into the top 10 for a quarterback, i.e. Justin Fields.
They're not swinging him. I think, so this is the way I think about it. And I think the best quarterback competition right now is everyone knows potentially the top 3 picks. You know what I mean? 3 is a little shaky, but 1 and 2 is basically sure. Zach Wilson is going 2. Number 1 is Trevor Lawrence. Number 3, I would say Justin Fields. And if that happens, I think the quarterback competition gets really tense between Carolina, Denver, and the Patriots for Trey Lance and Mac Jones. I think it's a fight to see who picks them first. I've heard a lot of rumors that Teddy Bridgewater could be in Denver by draft night, but that's what, 4 days away?
Because this is the best part about it. Carolina doesn't want their top pick, so that means if we get
Carolina's dumb.
They want to trade their 8th, and we can keep our 9th. So that's automatic. No,
you guys just swap them.
Well, you could do that, but I mean, it wouldn't really mean anything at that point. They don't care. What they're going to do is we can get Bridgewater, give up a 3rd round pick, a 4th round, maybe give up some low end receiver. I've been saying Deshaun Hamilton, he's got to be out of Denver at this point. But Greg, no, Broncos aren't going to move up. There's no need for them to. Everybody keeps saying quarterback, but it's all speculation. I really think they're going to trade for Bridgewater because we can get him for nothing. And you know what the best part is? Bridgewater could be open to restructuring his contract so he's not making $17 million a year. Boom. And now he's got a full core of receivers that he can get to, a defense that can stay on the field.
You got a caller. What's up, Pops?
Hey, I got a question for Jello.
What's up, man?
Jello, do you really think that Denver's not going to go after a quarterback?
Hold on, let me put him on speaker. Let me. Okay, go ahead, Jello.
No, and this is why.
So, hold on. Before you get started, shout out to Uncle Greg Dursno, tuning into the Rick T Podcast Season 2, Episode 2. This is wild. All the way, Dad, where's he at? Cali? All the way from not Colorado, my Uncle Greg. Thanks for tuning into the show. But Jello, continue. Sorry, I had to interrupt for that.
No, I don't think so. With our new GM, the man is smart, and drafting all these quarterbacks hasn't worked for us. And when you look at quarterbacks we picked up outside of drafting them themselves, that's where the Broncos have found success, i.e. Peyton Manning, even off an injury at that point. I think Bridgewater's that component because this is the thing. We still have Locke. I mean, you can't give up hope on him. He's still so young. Same with Darnold. You bring in that veteran quarterback that's not Joe Flacco. Bridgewater's a great quarterback. Coming back from the injuries, he did what he's able to do with the Saints. Carolina, he didn't have McCaffrey, but here he's got his full team set up. The man is smart. The man can play football. The man is a great teacher, and it's something he's open to doing, i.e. he did it with Will Grier in Carolina. I think that's huge. And what we need on defense, they've been going heavy on defense. Our GM that's been his focus, and he's done great with that, which is why I think they're going to avoid the early quarterback. I mean, you could get a late round quarterback. It's pretty deep this year. Locke was a 2nd round pick, for example. I think they're going to go big defensive player, or not, if not, a big offensive lineman at 9. There's a lot of big names that you could take there, and I don't.
You guys are going to take Slater.
No, Slater. So what I'm thinking is, I mean that would be a great pick. Don't get me wrong, and that's something we could use next to Bulls, for example. But we still have what's his name we drafted in 19. The offensive lineman we took after Locke. I can't remember his name now, but that's something we could use. I don't think we're going to go quarterback. This is the one thing I think the Broncos are actually going to be smart about. It's get that veteran, that solid veteran quarterback, not Case Keenum or Joe Flacco like John Elway wanted to do. Get Bridgewater in, have him help Drew Lock protect your quarterback. You have the receivers. You have 2 great backs. Don't count Royce Freeman out. I mean, Sco Ducks on that one. You did well on defense. People hate on Darby, but we got Fuller. We got Simmons to his contract. If we get Micah Parsons, for example, not only can that man run the ball, but that man can be a coverage linebacker against people like Travis Kelce. Chargers got Jared Cook. Raiders, with the Raiders. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. I think that's the smartest move at that point. People are always like, get that quarterback. I'm done with these 1st round quarterbacks. How many of these
people are
play out? Outside of, I still think
Parsons is there at 9. Do you take him or are you taking Samuel?
What?
He said if Parsons is there at 9, are you taking him or are you taking what was the other option, Dad?
Asante Samuels.
Asante Samuels Jr.?
Or what?
It'd be Micah Parsons all day.
Patrick, it would be either Patrick Surtain, maybe.
He's better than Horn.
Yeah, I think he's better than J.C. Horn,
Yeah.
but he's not better than Patrick Surtain.
All right. Well, so cornerback's out of the question. I mean,
Okay. Well, then Surtain then.
So think about it. Denver got 3 good corners in free agency this year.
we drafted Ojemudia last year. Well, we got 2. We still had was it Kareem Jackson we had another safety, and then we drafted Ojemudia last year, and he's kind of nice.
And then you guys picked up 2 big corners in free agency.
Kyle Fuller and Ronald Darby.
Yep. So.
Or even an edge rusher. Even an edge rusher Denver could take. I mean, there's plenty of them out there.
And Micah Parsons do that. I like that. Micah Parsons can be that component with Bradley Chubb, because the big thing they're going for Parsons is because of Miller's age and him getting hurt. That's been a big thing. And we have Alexander Johnson as well, who's been that sleeper at linebacker for us. Plus we have what's his name? He's out of Iowa. Josie Jewell as well. So I think it's going to be Parsons, and if Parsons isn't there, or if there's that big offensive lineman is there, they're going to go that. But I think they're getting Bridgewater. The Panthers are just trying to get more out of it, but what they're going to this is what I think is going to happen. They're going to trade Bridgewater to us, get our 2nd round pick this year, maybe some other crap or whatever, and then they're going to move their number 8 pick for a whole bunch of other picks as well. They're going to turn 1 first round pick they didn't want into 6 picks they can use for other players. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's going to happen. So, but I mean, I could be wrong. It's just, to me, it's the smartest thing. I wanted Watson, but with everything that's coming up, that's out of the question.
I think everyone in Denver wanted Watson, which is why I think they're going to try to get Trey Lance, if not Justin Fields.
See, they won't be on the Broncos aren't going to do that. Elway's not at the helm right now, and this is the big thing with Elway when it came to drafting or picking up quarterbacks. He did not want a quarterback that would have been better than him. He doesn't want to ruin his legacy, which is why him stepping down, we don't have to worry about that. We won't have the Osweilers. We won't have the Paxton Lynch. We won't have Simeon, Keenum, Flacco. We got Manning, but that was after a huge neck injury where he only won 1 Super Bowl. John Elway had 2. That's John. If you don't think John Elway's egotistical, you are wrong. And it is that. But now he stepped down. We don't have to worry about that. He always wanted to pick up a quarterback that would be worse than him, which is why I don't think we're going to go quarterback outside of Bridgewater. That's just the right decision. I don't care what you have to say about Bridgewater. He's not good. This or that. Look at what he did with the Saints. Like, this is one time I'll agree with Jay. Like, the man was magic. You go to Carolina where your receivers just they just run straight. You don't see a lot of dig routes or cut-ins like you do with the Broncos, for example, and there's no Christian McCaffrey down there.
Justin, how are the Raiders fans feeling about this?
About
Denver potentially getting a quarterback. You think they're going to go quarterback?
So me personally, I don't think so. I kind of agree with Jello here because John Elway has taken a step back, and he's almost ruined all their chances at a good quarterback before. So I think that now they're going to stay away from that and go try to find somebody more experienced. And they like Drew Lock, man. I really don't know why. Drew Lock, to me, isn't the best QB. I would love for him to stay as your guys' QB because I like watching Max Crosby come across and drag him across the field. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the worst. And I think you guys would definitely take an upgrade by taking Teddy B. And I like Teddy B a lot. So as a Raider fan, I say keep Drew Lock. He's gonna help you out.
We're gonna get Bridgewater and we're gonna get Parsons. We're gonna protect our QB, and it's gonna be great.
Right. Yeah, and I hope you guys don't take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah because that's who I want Raiders to pick up 100%.
And that's how we're feeling about that, Dad. That's how we're feeling about Denver.
That went on a lot longer than
Yeah, that drug on a minute, but sorry.
Hey, thanks, Coach.
Yeah, good question. Justin said thanks. Jello's appreciating it. I know he is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that one dug deep.
The show so far.
Thank you. Tell Uncle Greg to call up and ask some more questions.
I will.
All right. Catch you later.
All right.
Later.
All right, folks.
I like your dad's questions. They got to be the best ones overall.
They are, bro. My dad be asking some good questions, man. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk the top 10 at each position: quarterback, running back, receiver, bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean? We're going to base them out. We're going to talk about them a little bit, and then we have a couple more NFL topics, some NBA topics, and a couple MLB, and then we'll talk about the games of the day, and then we'll get you out of here, man. So enjoy this quick commercial break, and then we'll get out of here, man. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and then I'm not going to say Carson Wentz is a vet, but he does this like a vet, is maybe not so much this year if he doesn't, but that, like them veterans don't take sacks, but they take a fuck ton of intentional grounding. Like they would literally rather take that intentional grounding than get hit. So they just keep throwing that shit away, and they're dead ass in the pocket with little pressure. And you're like, what the fuck is that? But I always see it, bro. I always see people just throw that shit through the end zone, and I'm like, threw that shit like 30 yards high. Like there's no way that's not intentional grounding. And then the refs talk about it, and then it's flag. Jason, what do you think about this? Do you think the game is being played? What do you feel about this?
Like I said, man, I feel like they just I'm pretty sure they're going to go Pittsburgh still. I mean, like the Ravens, they're frauds. They're frauds. They're not even second. Yeah, they're frauds. Like they're not as good. They don't have that swagger, like big trust, like kind of thing this year.
I swear I got so high. I touched the net. Mom, I touched the net. This is the best day of my life.
Yo, one more question, and I just need a simple answer here.
Okay.
In the prime, Falcons or Little Grizzlies, who wins?
I knew you were going to ask me about this. You know, it's hard to even say this, man. Well,
No, that's what I'm thinking. However, I'm very surprised with how Washington is playing on the opposite side. You know, I'm thinking with a backup QB that doesn't play at all. Like, he hasn't played, you know, this season. I can't remember the last time he played.
And so I go out there and I'm trying to block. Yep, there it is. And I'm trying to block the DB. He's just backpedaling the whole time. I'm like, why are you backpedaling? Like it's a screen. And then I hear the crowd start like to roar. And I'm like, oh gosh, like Justin must be running, right? So I just sprint up the field. And all of a sudden I turn around and I just see Justin's arm come out of all them big Auburn D linemen. And that balls up and it literally felt like it was slow motion. Just
I kind of want a guy, and I've suggested this on the podcast and people have pushed back on it, and that's okay. I kind of want a guy that really wants the ball. I kind of really want a guy that it may even just kind of blow up on the sideline a little bit because he hasn't got the ball. You know, just like feed me the rock. And I know people are like, oh, that's a diva. No, that's like passionate.
Like OBJ type of emotional type player.
I would not have a problem. I know people who say that OBJ is a diva. I would have no problem with the dude who wants the rock.
Black players in MLB, this is their response to the Black Lives Matter protests and stuff. They're really passionate about like helping black communities, lower income communities. So like during the whole COVID season and everything, they were giving out like blankets, food, everything like that. And they do a lot of mentorship stuff. So I just want to give a shout out to them while I hopped on here. But
first initial, last name. So people call me Jerdman, and then someone just shortened it to Jerdy, and then it just caught on. So people call me that. And then coming in this league, I just wanted to like, you know, social media is a huge platform in this league and everything. So I wanted to make sure I had a universal like username, you know, and like so like my Twitter was like Jerdy002, my Insta was like Jerdy2. Like I just wanted to be universal so it's easy to find. So Jerdy was taken, and then I was like, you know what, Jerdy, I'm a dude, Jerdy dude, that's open, so just rolled with Jerdy dude.
Yeah, well, my brother, originally my brother was playing piano when I was a kid, and made me want to start playing piano. And he always played rap music, so that definitely made me want to start rapping. And then, you know, of course, like J. Cole was one of the reasons I started rapping, but then, you know, more your life starts changing, you know what I'm saying? I started listening to Mozzie. I love Dizzy Wright, made me want to rap, G Herbo, a lot of different things, even mostly R&B, Donnell Jones, John B, 112, a lot of R&B, but I can't sing, so you know what I'm saying? So I just rap. But
I'm not gonna lie to you, you're gonna hate my answer here because I hate to sound like a typical Michael Jordan fan. I feel like they gave LeBron James every benefit to have this be just an absolutely amazing movie. I mean, you look at how the time difference. You can't compare the different, just like you can't compare their games. It's a different time. It's a different genre. It's different. I mean, not genre. It's a different time era. It's a different. There's so much time space in between. The movies are completely different now. The game is different now.
We're back with the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. As always, joined alongside with me today, Justin Sanchez and Jello Rexroad. Welcome back, fellas. Man, we're about to get
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Let's go.
Always, man. Let's get into some more NFL, man. We're going to break down, just to show you guys and the viewers, watchers, the top 10 at each position in the NFL upcoming draft. On Thursday is our Rick T Podcast Draft Night Extravaganza. If you guys don't already know, April 29th, Thursday, show starts at 5:45 because the draft starts at 6. So if you're on the Eastern, bump it up 2 hours. If you're on the Western, bump it back an hour. We're having a bunch of guests come on to represent their teams before or after their draft picks. They're going to talk about what they think they should do, or what they feel about what their team just did for the future. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure we have a Jags fan. I'm pretty sure we have a Jets fan. I'm pretty sure we have a total of like 17 guests out of 32 teams. So that's outstanding for us. But if you guys are interested in getting in that, DM at the Rick T Podcast or Eric Holmes Jr. _ on Twitter. If you guys are interested in representing your team, letting us know what you guys feel or think your team should do, man. But let's get right back into it. At quarterback, man, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, number 1 and number 2. Trey Lance is actually ranked 3 above Zach Wilson, along with Mac Jones following at 5. And this is where I think stuff's going to get good. And then where I think a lot of teams are going to get creative is 6 down. Kyle Trask is going to go later. Maybe not in the first round. Maybe so. Keelan Mond is going to go later. Davis Mills, don't really know who that is, but I do know who Jamie Newton is. He's a baller. Felipe Franks out of Arkansas. He's a killer. I love Ian Book. I think that is probably one of the steals of the late quarterbacks. And then Sam Erlinger out of Texas. He's a 4-year starter for the Texas University Longhorns. So that's the top 10 or top 12 quarterbacks. So let's move. Or do you guys have any disagreements with that?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Jello?
I don't like Wilson. I don't like Wilson at 4.
What do you think it should be? 2?
6.
Oh, I honestly could agree with that.
And this is how it just translates to the NFL. I think Trask has it. Jones, I think, could be 5th. I still put Trask at 4. And people can hate on me all they want. They're like, oh, it was his receivers that made him better. No, I think that the man is insane. I think Book should be higher.
Yep.
Should be higher.
Yep.
I like Franks. I like Newman. I like Mills, but they can all drop. Mond could probably get dropped down a little bit as well, but I don't like Wilson inside the top 5.
And it's crazy to think that the way you just framed it, I completely agree. I think Ian Book is probably one of the steals. Sam Erlinger is a baller. Everyone knows that Kyle Trask has the size and the arm strength to do it. But Keelan Mond will probably be the 6th quarterback after Mac Jones or whoever the last quarterback of those highly ranked ones is. Surprising.
And this is why. So this quarterback class is why they're saying every quarterback will be drafted by the 4th round. But I think there's some steals, and this is why I'm talking about. Even if the Broncos didn't want to go draft a quarterback, for example, we still get Bridgewater. If you really want to go draft one in a later round because there is depth. And I like those late round quarterbacks over a lot of the first rounds outside the top 2, basically, because it's a crapshoot at that point. I mean, they could all be great, they could all suck. That's really just how it is. It doesn't matter where you take them. how they adapt is how they adapt, and that's just how it is. So
I agree. Justin, you pretty cool with those quarterback rankings, or you kind of agree with Jello and I?
Yeah, I think that Keelan Mond could drop down a little bit more. And I'm not a big Trevor Lawrence fan, but I mean it's sold that he's gonna go first. So
I love that clickbait, bro. I'm not a big Trevor Lawrence fan. I'm like, everyone in the world is like, what did he just say?
I'm not, man. I'm not. I never have been sold on him. The kid is good. He reminds me of freaking Joe Montana, bro. Like really. And his play style, like I know people were saying Zach Wilson looks like a Patrick Mahomes type player, but I think Trevor Lawrence looks more like a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I can see that. Trevor Lawrence can do all the things that a lot of quarterbacks can't. Oh, we got a new viewer. And TT, I don't know. I was about to say, how should I say this?
Spam. Oh. That's how you should say it.
No, let's give these viewers some respect. I'm gonna call this guy TT Lou. Natiti Lou, 1379. Want to become famous by followers and viewers. Oh, I didn't even realize it was fucking spam.
I told you it's spam, bro.
You're right. I didn't even read the comment. I was just like, "Ooh, new viewer." Trying to pronounce the name for 10 minutes. Spam, get out of here, please. This is why we need the mod, bro. That's embarrassing. But let's move on to running backs, bro. And this is where stuff gets a little interesting too. At 1, they have Najee Harris. At 2, Javonte Williams from North Carolina. He's been moving up the boards along with his backup running back, Michael Carter. I guess you couldn't even call him a backup. They literally just went 1 and 2. Literally just a 1 and 2 punch, two-headed monster type deal. Both literally second and third, so they were doing great things. Both ahead of obviously number 4 Travis Etienne, which I think should be number 1. To be honest, Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis is up there. Jamar Jefferson out of Oregon State's up there. Trey Sermon is at 7. I think he maybe could be a little higher, but I think they have him there because of his knee injury last year at Ohio State or at Oklahoma University. Keelan Hill out of Mississippi State. Jarrett Patterson out of Buffalo. Khalil Herbert out of Virginia Tech, Rahan Moore Stevenson out of Oklahoma, and then Chuba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. So I completely disagree with this list. For 1, Travis Etienne should be 1, Najee Harris should be 2, and then I would have Michael Carter in there. Trey Sermon should be up there along with Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is a killer. That's going to be a steal of the draft for real. But who? How do you guys think this should have lined up?
All right, so
go ahead, Jello.
Go ahead, Justin.
All right, thanks, man. I was just gonna say I think Chuba Hubbard should definitely be up there, at least 4th, and then Travis Etienne out of Clemson should be number 1. Najee Harris 2, and then 3. Man, I probably have to slide either Michael Carter.
Michael Carter's cool.
Yeah, like keep him there, or bump up my guy Stevenson, like I was saying. But yeah,
shout out to Devin Murray. Shout out to Devin Murray, 1999, too, for showing up and commenting. I think Najee Harris could be a potential to be a great running back for a long time.
Yeah, no, I agree too. There's something about Alabama running backs, Alabama players, once again. But go ahead, Jello.
All right, so yeah, Etienne 1, Najee Harris 2. You guys might not like this pick, but I got Jarrett Patterson at 3. And this is why. Check stats. In my opinion, like this man is just like a straight murderer with the ball. Like this, because was it last year he had in one game like 450 yards and 8 touchdowns, something like that.
Jeez.
And this is my thing. Like, I know he slept on because he went to Buffalo, but I think this man deserves top 5. And then I put Michael Carter, and then I'd probably put Hubbard in at 5, because there's some weird choices on who's above who and who's below who at this point. But I think Jarrett Patterson's got to be top 5, no problem. That I don't follow a lot of college football, but man, that man is a baller. Shot caller. He's got 20-inch blades, all the Impala. Like, this man's just out there. So I give I think, yeah, Etienne's got to be first. I don't see why he wouldn't be. I know Najee Harris is hyped for being Alabama, but if you don't take Etienne first, it's going to be a steal for somebody else. So
Alvin Kamara 2.0, and I don't know how people were like, he's the 4th best running back in this draft. Like, what?
Christian McCaffrey dropped like that too. Let's all remember, I know it's receiver to running back, but Mike Williams got taken before a lot of these guys too. When you look at it, so I think there's gonna be some real steals, and I think ATN could be one of those. I wouldn't be mad. That's when I wouldn't be mad if the Broncos really wanted to do it and went him at 9. That'd probably be one of the only offensive choices, like at least skill position players. I wouldn't be mad if they picked up.
So honestly, I can agree with that, but you guys would get clowned by the world for taking a running back top 10. It's like the generation where running backs don't get taken top 10 anymore.
Right. Yeah. And at this point, he probably will drop just due to the fact that teams are going to take who they want. And if he drops, second round, then boom, we got him for a steal. For example, we got Phillip Lindsay. I know he's gone now, but we got him undrafted. James Robinson. Look at these backs that don't even get drafted that end up being insane.
So 2 teams, or I'll name 2 teams right off the top of my head that they could take these running backs that I've seen them take these running backs in mock drafts, and it instantly changes their offense. So Miami, if Miami takes Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, that offense is going to be rolling. You know what I mean? Along with the Steelers. If the Steelers take a run, they just got rid of James Conner to Arizona. They don't really have a number 1 running back. So if they get a Travis Etienne or a Najee Harris, the Steelers are back. You know what I mean?
I thought they had a number 1. What's his name? Benny Snell.
Do you think Benny Snell is better than Travis Etienne or Najee Harris?
I was just saying, in my opinion, better than James Conner, at least last year. But
yeah, James Conner wasn't very good last year. I think he's a good back. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good back, but he just didn't have a good season last year.
He wasn't very healthy either.
That's true.
Yeah, they had Benny Snell, and then Benny Snell ended up getting hurt, and then
they threw a lot. They threw the ball a lot last year.
Steelers are offensive linemen early though. They're not going to go back. They're gonna because Big Ben's back. There's no way he's not the starter. They wouldn't have brought him back if he wasn't. I like this question.
All right, so hold on. Let me pull this up before you start talking about that because I have a couple pictures for that, bro. So Sean Payton on his draft plans regarding the quarterback position, he said, "I don't think it's a must position. We feel like we've got real good players in the building." Taysom Hill on his new approach, he said, "For the last 4 years, my workout routine has been different. It's been structured to be a Swiss Army knife and do all these other things. My focus is to be a full-time quarterback now." And then I have one more thing. Let me find it. Oh, Jameis. Here we go. I went from being the number 1 draft pick to everybody laughing at me, but guess what? I'm about that business. I'm outworking everyone at my position. So literally there's statements. Literally it is a triangle of statements. Sean Payton, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, they're all talking shit like about themselves, like I'm the shit. Sean Payton's like, man, I'm good. I got 2 good players. Taysom Hill's like, I've been a knife and now I'm about to be a gun, and Jameis Winston's like, I couldn't see and now I can. No one's outworking me. There's so much shit talk in the Saints locker room and I'm low-key loving it. I believe Sean Payton. I don't want them to draft a quarterback. Let this ride out. Let them compete and let's see what these guys do. But to be honest, I think they're going to go Taysom Hill. They gave him kind of a bigger contract, but I did just find this out about his contract. Every year is voidable if they want. They can halfway through the year be like, yeah, no, cut this guy. And his contract is dead. Imagine that. I'd be pissed. So I think that's why they gave Jameis that 1-year contract to sit there. And then they're giving Taysom this big contract to try to prove himself. But I think it'll be interesting to see. But what do you think, Jello? What do you think on this whole question with the Saints, man?
I know they said they had Mac Jones at first going to the Saints, but you don't tie $40+ million a year in 2 quarterbacks to draft another one. You don't pay $40 million for a player to sit on the bench like that. You pay Cam Newton $12 million to sit on the bench if you draft I think that's the big thing is there's no way they pay that much money up and go draft a quarterback. That's why Jones is not on any mock drafts for the Saints anymore. It's going to be Hill over Winston for now, just due to his depth. He won out the quarterback competition last year. I could be wrong, but I think it could be Hill. They'll still have Winston out as a backup, and they're definitely not drafting a quarterback because you got to remember they drafted Tommy Stevens as quarterback last year as well. So there's that.
So Jalen's saying you were tripping if you think Hill's going to start. Big Blue Jay said quarterback competition is not a bad problem to have. Winston will start. Devin Murray says, I think Winston can lead the team to playoffs since he watches Breeze he's watched Breeze for years, but so is Hill. So Hill's played behind him for years. Jayla said you smoking dick.
I'm not surprised.
Winston will start.
But you got to remember, you guys remember, it's LeBron James to the Saints. It's not going to be Winston. Everybody keeps saying this. Hill's won the competition once. He'll win it again. You got to remember, this man's work ethic is like nobody in the league. I get Winston could be working hard. Nobody works as hard as Taysom Hill. And that's coming from a Broncos fan at that point. Like, the man puts in work because he will play every position. The man will block a kick, return a kick, catch a touchdown, run a touchdown. I mean, he'll do anything and everything. And if he puts all that effort in 9 positions into guys, I have no doubt. And I'm like I said, Winston isn't bad. There's much worse in the NFL, but I don't think he'll beat out Hill for this position. Because even talent aside, Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill, so that plays a role in this as well. So
he does. I'm so excited for this quarterback competition, though. Like I said, quarterback competition in New Orleans is going to be rad this year. Yeah. And, I think for Hard Knocks, I'm going to let you answer this, Justin, but I think for Hard Knocks, the Saints are one of the possible places for them to do it. But honestly, I think they're going to do Dallas. The way Dallas was playing out before Dak's contract and shit, everyone was like, oh, dude, let's pick Dallas. And I think the voting's over, but I think the Saints would be a good place to have Hard Knocks.
It's going to be like one episode, and it's going to be like everybody else there, and it's just going to be a big sign that says 160 million on it, and Jerry Jones his thumbs up.
Right.
I'll sign that. I'll sign that sign. Don't blame me.
And your quarterback bigger contract than you paid for the team at that point.
Yeah. So this is how I see this playing out. I hear you, Jello, saying that they're going to go with Hill. They're paying him this money. He knows the book, all this stuff. But I think they start out with Wilson or Winston, because this is what I would do, and this is how I see it playing out. You start out with Winston, who's been there before, who has been that full-time starting quarterback, unlike Hill, who has just been like a chess piece in Sean Payton's offense. So I think you keep him there. You start Winston. Let Winston take the reins of his own demise. He either elevates them or he crashes. And if he does, then that's whenever you implement Taysom Hill as a starting QB. Winston drops to second. Next year, you go get yourself a quarterback.
Honestly, my thing is, though, this is probably, and I say this every year, I'm always like, there's never going to be a quarterback class better than this. And then the next year, it's like, oh my God, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. Oh my, you know what I mean? That's what I was thinking last year. Like, Justin Herbert, no one's going to get better than my boy. And then he wins Rookie of the Year. And then this year, it's like, damn, bro, there's a lot of good quarterbacks. And like, down to Sam Erlinger. You know what I mean? Like, that's their worst quarterback. And he's crazy good. So, I'm gonna say it. I don't think there's gonna be another quarterback class like this for a while. You know what I mean? I suppose Spencer Rattler's probably gonna come out next year. You know, a bunch of good little quarterbacks, but there's definitely not gonna be a full scale of quarterbacks like the ones we're seeing this year. So it's like, do you pull the trigger on a quarterback this year? And if so, why not even pull it late? Look at Dak Prescott, 6th round, 4th round pick, whatever he is, ends up being the highest one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, these quarterbacks are starting to be seen in later rounds. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to have a Baker Mayfield to be great. Baker Mayfield's just starting to be great. Let's be real. Baker Mayfield wasn't great his first 2 years being the number 1 draft pick. Kyler Murray's not great. Kyler Murray's not outstanding. You know what I mean? So it's like he makes plays, but it's like you don't. The way I'm looking at it is like, you don't have to give up your house, your car, your clothes to get the quarterback of the future anymore. You know what I mean? Exactly. You can find those guys later. Pat Mahomes wasn't even the number 1 pick. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe sit there and think about who. I'm telling you, Ian Book, that'll be a good draft pick from Notre Dame. Sam Erlinger is going to be a good draft pick. And I'm telling you, it's going to be these teams like Denver or Dallas or somebody who needs a low-key backup to kind of compete for that starting job. And I'm not saying they're going to compete for Dak's job, but what if Dak goes down again with the ankle injury? We're going to need somebody. What if Denver wants somebody to kind of compete with Drew Lock, but they don't want to spend their number 9 draft pick on a Trey Lance or Justin Fields. You know what I mean? They can get somebody later in the draft that's still just as good or has the potential to be just as good. So it's like, for the Saints, pull the trigger to me. I definitely think you pull the trigger on another like young quarterback, but you don't pull the trigger anytime early. You low-key can be one of the last teams to take a quarterback and still be all right with that position.
Exactly. And then again, I think Saints are right up there with, you know, the Raiders at being the safest at the quarterback position, having 2 guys that can produce and run the rock and throw the rock and just be those starters. You know what I mean? We have 2 starters, unlike some teams where, you know, you have a backup, like in situations with the Cowboys where you had Dalton step in, who's supposed to be this big backup, but Dalton just hasn't been it for years.
Yeah, and that's what Devin Murray's saying. Why'd they settle with Andy Dalton? They were better off with Mitch Trubisky. That's what Jello thinks. That's what Justin thinks. They were really high on Mitch Trubisky, and I'm not too low on him, but I'm not too high on Andy Dalton.
So there's something that popped up on that where they think somebody in the Bears front office didn't like Trubisky. Because, all right, there's a big circle to this. They let Mitch Trubisky go to the Bills for 1 year, $2.5 million. They cut Kyle Fuller, one of the best D-backs in the league, to open up $14 million in cap space, so he goes to the Broncos, to give Andy Dalton $10 million. You could have got
Dalton's not that good.
You could have got 4th-year Mitch Trubisky or whatever at $2.5 million. Who he's not the best quarterback once again, but he's not bad. Look what Nick Foles did, and compared to Trubisky, one won, one didn't. And then you pay Andy Dalton in his 9th year or whatever it may be, $10 million. So you go with Nick Foles and Andy Dalton.
I agree.
There's outside of Tom Brady and like Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees last year, you go for the new, not the old. You don't stick with the old because in this sense, this old is not working.
Well, he did say Bears to the Super Bowl, but that's what he's saying. They should have kept Mitch Trubisky. That's what he's saying. They should have kept Trubisky.
And that whole night, that was a bold take. We literally answered a bold take, and that
shit stuck on you like a sticker, bro. Everyone for weeks was like, Jello said Bears and Bills to the Super Bowl. It was bad, bro.
But I mean, in the end of it, they should have kept Trubisky because he's what worked. Like if it's not broken, don't fix it. It was broken with Foles, not with Trubisky. And
I think the Bears' problem was their coaching.
Because look at this. They let Trubisky go because they didn't get Wilson or whatever. That trade for Russell Wilson would have demolished their entire team. They were giving up their 5 best defensive players, a bunch of first-round picks, and they were still going to let Trubisky walk because they would have got Wilson. So you get Russell Wilson with no team. Like
Wilson would have been pissed in a year.
Right. The Bears need to do something like the Broncos are doing. The Broncos have made a lot of shitty decisions over the years, but we finally made a good GM position. Boom. Kyle Fuller got cut. We had him in less than 24 hours for a lot less money than he was getting in Chicago. Ta-da. Yeah. Like, I don't get what the Bears are doing here. Like, they're like, okay, we wanted Khalil Mack from the Raiders. Now they're like, who can we get for Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack? Like, who can we get for these guys? And now they let Trubisky go $2.5 million for your 2nd-round pick you traded up for. And you pay Andy Dalton $10 million. This has to be one of the stupidest decisions in football. Like, honestly.
Like I said, they have a lot of potential to take one of these later guys. Later quarterbacks in this draft are going to be the thing.
But at this point, like, they already named Andy Dalton the starter. That was the only reason why he signed with the Bears is because they guaranteed him the starting spot. Then you got Nick Foles. These guys can coach, yes, but why would you waste a top pick on a quarterback who, like, if, for example, you could easily start that younger quarterback you just drafted, but what if the other quarterbacks want to leave now? I wouldn't surprise me with Nick Foles. We've seen that bitchy attitude before. Wouldn't surprise me with Dalton. The only reason he went there was because he's guaranteed the starting spot. So Bears are just dumb at this point. But I and I get what Jason's saying. It's all hypotheticals.
Let's move on. Let's move on, to be honest. Too much quarterback and fucking Bear talk. I don't like the Bears. I don't care about the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears is the Bears. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the Browns is the Browns. It's the Bears is the Bears now.
I've been pissed.
So that's why I watch the Bears. I love it.
Yeah, I've been pissed at the Bears ever since they took Khalil Mack. But I will say I like Cohen. I like their running backs. You know what I mean? Those are my fantasy dimes. But yeah, let's get off the Bears.
Let's get off the Bears and move on to the receivers. At 1, Devontae Smith, he's ranked 1. At 2, Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. I think he's ranked because of his size. I think he's like 6'4". He's a pretty big guy. Jamar Chase, 3 out of LSU. Jalen Waddle, 4 out of Alabama. Elijah Moore out of Mississippi. We played his highlights a couple weeks ago. Probably one of the best feet in the draft. How do you say this guy's name? Dami Brown out of North Carolina.
I think so, something like that.
Yeah, I don't want to call him like Dimey Brown out of North Carolina. Terrace Marshall Jr. out of LSU, another good receiver out of LSU. Rondell Moore also played his highlights out of Purdue. Tylan Wallace, Oklahoma State. Amari Rogers out of Clemson. He's going to be a sleeper pick. That was Trevor Lawrence's favorite receiver, and if somehow he can end up in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, I think that might be a nice little duo. Followed by Kadarius Toney, the human joystick. I'm excited to see where this guy goes. I think he's going to go to Baltimore late in the first round. I think he'll be one of the top receivers in this whole wide receiver class. And then followed by number 12, Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC. A lot of people have been watching this guy since his days at Mater Dei in California. He's been a high-ranked receiver straight out of high school, and now it's finally his time to play in the NFL, man. So like I said, a stacked receiver core. I don't necessarily have much problems with the way they kind of lined it up because a lot of receivers have different dynamics. You know what I mean? You can't really base a receiver the way you base a quarterback and a running back, where they get kind of the same thing every time, where you're going to either have to hand the ball off or drop back and read the defense. And it's the same thing for a running back and a quarterback. But for a receiver, where some plays you're going to have to block, or some plays you're going to have to go deep, or you could be in the slot or a special team specialist. You know what I mean? You never really know what you're going to be doing as a receiver. So I don't mind the way they kind of rated these guys. But yeah, this is the way they rated them. Justin, how are you feeling on this? You think it's all right?
I agree, but I do like Kadarius Toney. I like the way he plays. I watched his pro day, all that. I think that he needs to be up way higher than that. I think that somebody will take a chance on him. Kyle Pitts is obviously the go-to guy out of Florida, but Toney, he showed out this year, and I think that he deserves to be higher on that. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, I agree with that. I would say Elijah Moore is probably going to go second, like I said. I think it's going to go Jamar Chase, Elijah Moore, then a Devontae Smith, and then, get into the rest of them. But
yeah. And the question in the chat, Devin Murray said, what team do you think will take a receiver first? Let me answer that in my opinion before I get Jello on. I think Miami at 6, if they don't take Kyle Pitts, possibly they could take a Jamar Chase. But I do think for sure that at 7, I think Detroit's going to take a receiver either way, whether it's Devontae Smith, Rashad Bateman, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. Like, I feel like whatever receiver that they are interested in at the time is what receiver they're going to take. You know what I mean?
I agree. They need somebody for Goff. For sure.
They do.
Getting rid of Galladay. They need somebody in there.
And Marvin Jones, so.
Yeah.
Well, Marvin Jones is there on a franchise tag, but I don't think he wants
he's
to
not
be
there. Marvin Jones.
They gave him away.
Yeah,
really?
This is like really cheap.
Jaguars, yeah.
Oh, they did. Wow. So they don't have nobody. They got like Hunter Henry or somebody at tight end, but
TJ Hawkinson at tight end, and that's it.
He didn't have a very good season, but he's a good guy. He's a good tight end. Good tight end. Jello, how are you feeling about these receivers? You think they're all right?
Yeah, I still think Chase will go first. So how I think it's going to work is, I know the Lions need like a big receiver, but if Chase goes first, I honestly think the Lions would go Pitts. And then you got 8th and 11th, 12th. That would go other receivers. The Giants, though, I think the Giants have one of the smartest off seasons in getting Kyle Rudolph and picking up Kenny Galladay. They have Darius Slayton. And your Ingram and everybody can be your backups there. So I think the Giants had a great offseason in that aspect. So they drafted Andrew Thomas at line last year, so they could go defense, or they could move it around. They'll get Nate Solder back this year, but I like this list. And you got to look out for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So
yeah,
his brother plays for the Packers right now, it was the one time I'll agree with Jay that he could go to the Saints. And if not, I think the Packers pick him up. One thing Rodgers likes is consistency, and that's consistency there. So I like this list. And this list could get all thrown out of whack real quick in this draft.
Real quick,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really like base this list and be like, this is wrong. Like, this could go any way for receivers.
Baker went before Justin Jefferson. 11 receivers went before DK Metcalf.
I was about to say DK didn't even go in the first round. Like, get out of here.
Second round, third round, something like that.
I think it's late second. Yeah.
That's why you have to watch out for Elijah Moore. I don't know what they're doing at Ole Miss, but their receivers hit different. You got DK and AJ Brown out the same class. I don't know who's recruiting or training the receivers, but man, they got somebody hidden in there. They got Randy Moss out there training them or something.
I'm telling you, man. 10, 11, and 12. Rice. The bottom three ranked receivers in this list are going to be outstanding. Amari Rogers, Kadarius Toney, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh yeah, wherever they go, they're gonna be watched on Sundays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's move on to tight ends, man. Of course, Kyle Pitts from Florida, Pat Fearmouth out of Penn State, Tawny Tremble out of Notre Dame, pretty big dude. Brevin Jordan out of Miami, Hunter Long, Boston College, and Kenny Yoba out of Mississippi. I don't have a problem with this at all, just because the only one I really know is Tommy Tremble and Kyle Pitts. So what about you, Justin?
I do like the guy out of Miami. I watched a lot of Miami games, the Hurricanes this year. And yeah, I think that this list is right where it needs to be. Like you said, I can't really go into depth because I don't really know too much about all these fellows. But yeah, Kyle Pitts is definitely going to go first round, top 10. Whoever's going to get him is lucky to have him. And I think that's going to be an ongoing trend in the NFL just because you got guys like Kelsey, Kittle, Darren Waller.
Tight ends are starting to be the thing now, bro.
I'll say his name one more time again. Darren Waller.
Darren Waller. Who?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe Spencer Webb's watching. You don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Spencer Webb. Who said Spencer? He really was like, who's Darren Waller?
Dude, that was the greatest moment of my life as a Broncos fan. That was just.
I was like, oh, that's clickbait. Can we clip that? He's like, clip what? Justin like got off. Click. I'm out of here.
No. I can't even talk no more. I'm done.
Whatever. Let's move on to edge rushers. Kwity Payne out of Michigan, easily the top edge rusher in my opinion, followed by Jalen Phillips out of Miami. Good guy, good edge rusher. Rashad Weaver. How do you say this guy's name? Aziz Ojulari.
Aziz Ojulari.
There you go. Aziz Ojulari. Out of Georgia. He's obviously the sleeper in this one. Joseph Asai out of Texas. Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. I feel like he's ranked way too low on this because he's going to go first round, or if not first round, early second. Jason Owen out of Penn State. Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest. And then Joe Tyron out of Washington. Those are the top 10 edge rushers. Like I said, the only problem I have with this is Gregory Rousseau at 7. I would put him a little higher, but other than that, I don't really have anything to say about this. Justin?
No, I completely agree. There's definitely some dogs coming out on the defensive side in this draft.
Yeah, completely agree. Jello?
Yeah, so I think what we've seen in the past couple of years is less and less defensive players going in the first round. So I think this one you'll have a couple pop up in that first round, but I think a lot of the depth and a lot of these good players are going to drop with the offensive talent this year. But I mean, there's a lot. I mean, Rousseau will probably be a second round pick in my opinion, probably later round, second round. But I don't think he'll drop and be the 7th one taken in my opinion. Same with Aziz Ojulari. What he did with Georgia was really, really good. But another position that could absolutely change. Your number one guy could go 13. For all we know, especially with edge rushers. So it really what the team wants, what they do a little bit different. That's all that really matters. Your play style is kind of out with some teams, as we've seen in the past few years with who gets taken where. But I mean, that's a tough list to try to evaluate overall.
It really is edge rushers, and this isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not a heavy edge rusher class, but I've seen better edge rusher classes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
the JJ or the TJ Watt or edge rusher classes, the Bosa's, you know what I mean? Yeah, we've seen better edge rusher classes.
And I think right now, like defensively, it's a heavier middle linebacker, outside linebacker and cornerback. draft
And
class.
that's what we're getting into right now. Is we'll start with linebackers. And this is what surprised me the most is everyone's talking Micah Parsons, Penn State. This guy's going 1. These guys at Gridiron Bleacher Report have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah ranked number 1, and I don't disagree with it. The Raiders have had their eyes on Jeremiah for a long time. I know the Washington football team has their eyes on Jeremiah. This guy is a baller. Out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be a game changer. Even if Denver came to conclusion that they wanted to take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at 9 and not Micah Parsons, I would be fine with that. I think a lot of the NFL players and NFL teams would be like, that's kind of smart. You know what I mean? My dad just texted me and said Pitts to the Dolphins. I hope so, honestly. I can see Pitts to the Dolphins. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah. But
or receiver, that's a tough one.
Yeah. But at 1, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame. 2, Micah Parsons, Penn State. 3, Zavion Collins out of Tulsa, another beast guy. 4, Chaz Surratt out of North Carolina, and then 5, Jamin Davis out of Kentucky. This linebacker class is heavy. You know what I mean? It's not Devin White heavy like we were just talking about the Bosas and the Watts and stuff like that. But this is a heavy linebacker class, definitely heavier than the edge rushers and stuff like that. So, Justin, how are you feeling about this? I don't really have a problem with this at all.
Yeah, so shout out to our boy Q. He has the Raiders taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and I completely agree with him. Just heard some news not so long ago that there were some character issues with Micah Parsons.
Yep.
We're probably not going to really touch on it too much here, but if it is online, if you want to look it up, and that is having him expected to be dropping in the draft just because of some stuff like that. It's not necessarily like a play thing because like the dude can go out there and play and lay people out, and that's what's perfect. But as NFL is making these business choices, they are obviously looking at how this kid is around other people and other stuff like that. So
easily Micah Parsons. I think Micah Parsons is the best coverage linebacker in this draft.
Yeah, so I see him dropping. But one person that I don't see I would like Jamin Davis to go in the first round, but I could see him being second and third round too. But one person that I don't see on this list that I like, I believe it's Brown, number 32.
Out of Ohio State?
No, 32 off of Mizzou.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't know, you're gonna have to watch some stuff. Not only can he hit, but I guess like not only can he hit, but he can score too. You know what I mean? Like he's creating forced fumbles, interceptions, all kinds of stuff. So yeah,
that's the same way with Brandon Browning out of Ohio State. That linebacker, I think he's like number 8 or something like that. He's a beast too. That dude can hit. But Jello, how you feeling about this? Yeah, you probably have a big problem with this Micah Parsons being at 2, huh?
No, not really. So once again, it's what I've said is just it doesn't matter who's better than who. It's what your team needs. Like getting Koramoah would be great. Like I wouldn't be upset with that. That's the thing. It's just like it's all talk. Would I prefer Micah Parsons? I mean, character issues aside, there's players on the team that keep you in check. We have vets like that'll keep you in check, and
especially in that linebacker group in Denver, they would bully his ass.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you got a lot of veteran guys in there to keep him in check at that point. So, but I think. Sorry, my kid's over here singing to me.
It's beautiful.
But I think they still go Parsons. They want that coverage side with the linebacker. Koramoah brings a lot to the table, but I think Parsons having Travis Kelce and the quarterbacks we do in our division, I think is what sets him up for us to take him is just because that's not something we really have. Miller has never really been that big coverage guy. Alexander Johnson's big and heavy. He's not a coverage guy where Parsons can bring that aspect of you could use it at some point.
Yeah.
It went Koramoah. I wouldn't be upset whatsoever. I mean, they're both great. I mean, even Zaven Collins, like later down the line, there's so many linebackers or even defensive players alone that's what I'm saying. That's why I think these good players could go. The offensive players are going to go first. Defensive is going to drop. There's going to be some steals on that end of it. So
yeah, it's definitely offensive heavy draft.
Exactly. But I don't know. I'd be happy with either. There's no lie about it. And if it means we took what the Raiders wanted, I'm a Broncos fan, so it happened. But
You said, Jeremiah, come to Denver, baby. You thought you was going to Vegas.
It's a hot
Whatever.
commodity. Did you? I seen it briefly on ESPN. I believe last night when I was watching the prelims. But there's like a commercial that they made for Jeremiah.
Owosu.
Yeah, they
I
made
seen
about an equation that he hit somebody like as hard as like a freight truck or something like that. Or it was crazy. You just look into it.
It's the mathematic like mechanicals that they do with the NFL and football and stuff now.
Yeah.
They can base your like hit pressure off of like how hard a truck hits something or anything
and they
like
made
that.
the equation for him and stuff. I'm gonna have to rewatch the commercial.
It's like those
speak more on
Deshaun
it,
Watson
but it was
commercials.
cool.
It's like those Deshaun Watson commercials when he's like talking about his own play and he's like 32%, hell yeah, and everyone's like, you hit that,
Right.
and it's like literally slow motion, like the balls all like,
those are cool.
It's one of those commercials. Those are definitely cool as hell. But moving on from linebackers, we're going to DBs, cornerbacks. At 1, Patrick Surtain, Alabama. 2, J.C. Horn, South Carolina. That's where it gets intense. Like I said, that's where it gets tricky for a team like the Cowboys. We're probably going to take the first cornerback. But like I said, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, and then they have Greg Newsome, the second out of Northwestern. He's a good corner, but I do not think he's better than Caleb Farley. Caleb Farley at 4. Asante Samuel Jr. at 5. I would switch maybe Greg Newsome and Asante Samuel and leave it at that. But I think the reason they have Caleb Farley so low now is because he literally got back surgery a day before his pro day and like couldn't compete, couldn't do nothing. Like it was a bad decision made by him. Like he's like, I'm not going to say nothing until they all come out for my pro day. And then I'm going to tell them I'm having back surgery. So I can't do nothing and I'm not going to be ready until camp. So everyone's like, oh, yeah, no, drop him down. But he's a really good corner. But like I said, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, it's going to be interesting to see who takes the other one who doesn't get taken by Dallas. You know what I mean? But Justin, what do you think of these? You think these are right?
Yeah, man, my favorite one in here is probably Patrick Surtain and, of course, J.C. Horn. But, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think it's going to be a lot of skilled players getting taken off the board first, and – we'll see who makes the first defensive splash, but it'll definitely probably be one of these guys.
Yeah, I completely agree. Jello, how you feeling on this?
I like the list. I know the whole situation with Farley, for example, but I mean, even before the back surgery thing, everybody had him going first, and I still think that's a possibility at that point. Back surgery or not, the man's gameplay is great. Surtain's amazing as well. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, one of these guys is going to be the first defensive player possibly taken if the Broncos don't go defense. So if the Broncos don't take a defensive player like I think they're going to, Dallas will definitely be the first one at 10.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
and that's the answer to your question too, Devin. I think the Broncos could take it. Surtain, no. The Broncos are not taking a DB anymore. I told Jello the same thing like a month ago. I was like, the Broncos are going to take Surtain, man. And then they went crazy in free agency. They were like, DB.
Yeah, that's secondary.
Franchise tag. And then we'll sign Simmons. Like, they went crazy in the backfield, defensive backfield. They don't have to get a DB in the draft for probably like the next 4 or 5 years.
So, yeah, not only do you have Callahan, but you have Darby, you have Fuller, you have Justin Simmons, you have Ojemudia, you have Kareem Jackson. Like, it's pretty nice back there.
And then you have what's his name? So you have Von Miller on one side, and then what's the other dude on the other side?
Which one?
The dude you guys, he was a defensive end you guys got a couple years ago, first round.
Bradley Chubb?
Bradley Chubb. So those are definitely pass rushers. Say Denver
Shelby
gets
Harris.
Yeah, but say Denver gets the best coverage linebacker in the draft in Micah Parsons. That has that whole defensive backfield stacked. And then you have 2 edge rushers and then 1 linebacker to play that middle section. Denver's defense is going to be looking good.
Jewel, those dudes right there, I mean, they might not be the biggest, but they're nice, dude. They're nice for sure. So, and that's why I think Parsons fits into that scheme of things. So, who knows, though? They could really take a quarterback. We don't know. It's all speculation. I just hope they don't. It's
Trey Lance to Denver. Let's make a bet, Jello. Let's make a bet.
All right. Just imagine having Lance, though. Could you imagine just like that? All right, the whole 1-2 quarterback thing is becoming more popular, which is exactly what the Saints could do. That could be absolutely what happens. Winston starts, but they just go 1-2 back and forth, depending on who they're playing. It's all a possibility. Who knows? I'm just hoping we don't, but I could be very wrong.
Could be, man. But let's move on to the last one, safeties. At 1, they have Trayvon Moore, or how do you say that? Moherg?
Moherg.
Morg, yeah, Trayvon Morg out of TCU. My boy Javon Holland out of Oregon. I know personally he should be ranked at 1 as the best safety in this. And this isn't biased. He's an animal. He opted out this year, but last year was, it was wild, bro. At 3, Jamar Johnson out of Indiana, Richie Grant, UFC, and then at 5, Hamshad Needledino. No, I'm just playing. I don't know how to say that.
Nasruddin.
Nasruddin.
Hasham Nasruddin out of Florida State. Imagine Roger Goodell saying that on stage. But like I said, the only problem I have with this one is Javon Holland should be at 1. Justin?
Yeah, no problem with this. Don't really know too much about safeties in this year's draft.
It's kind of a low safety draft. It's no Derwin James or, Carl Joseph.
Yeah.
It's none of them.
And I'm sold, Raiders got Carl Joseph back. So now we got our duo back there with Jonathan Abram and Carl Joseph. Just like Abram's rookie year. I know
you guys all right at DB too.
But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be all right this year.
I wish Dallas had some DBs like you guys. I don't know what it feels like to have a good defensive backfield. Couldn't talk about it.
I like Trevon Diggs. I think he can progress pretty good overall.
I like him too, but he needs a partner. He can't do it by himself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you guys need not do it by himself. Hollywood, exactly. Hollywood Vaughn. He should be at 1, baby. Go Ducks. But that's all we have. But one thing I do want to just get on before we get off the NFL topics, at receivers, you guys seen them all here. 6 of the top 8 receivers in the mock draft took at least 67% of their snaps from the slot last year. So as you guys see it, Kadarius Toney, 86% in the slot, Rondale Moore, 82%, Terrace Mitchell, Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle, and Rashawn Bateman, all over 65% in the slot. So like it said, 6 out of the top 8 receivers in this year's draft played more from the slot than any other position on the field, man. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem for a lot of these teams. I don't know if a lot of these guys are going to have to learn to play more on the outside, or if they just if they knew how and they was just a better fit in the inside, or if they truly just don't know how. You know what I mean? It could go either way, but being in the NFL, they're going to make you learn. You know what I mean? Right. But let's get into a little NBA. We got a little bit of time left here on the Rick T Podcast, episode 2. But let's get into the NBA, man. So I got one more quick little video how we're going to start this off, man.
Tonight, the Big Blue Nation is hurting. We've just learned that freshman basketball guard Terrence Clark lost his life in a crash tonight.
We want to try to show you a live look right now at the intersection in Los Angeles where this happened just a few hours ago. And there it is. This is just northwest of downtown LA. Clark, just 19 years old. We just hung up a short time ago with Los Angeles police. Josh Berrien is here now with more on what we've learned about just how this happened. Josh?
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began.
You know we started.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Let me tell you.
When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling strong. And what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond. And that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. And when brotherhood comes.
Thank you, Tavius. To take you away from the court for a second, I wonder, did you get word about what happened with Terrence during the game? I know LeBron posted about it at halftime, and he had just signed with Clutch yesterday. Did that? What's that?
I didn't. We got the news as we was actually running out of the locker room. You know, I mean, not everybody, but you know, I just heard what was going on as I was coming out of the locker room. Oh man, words can't even explain. You know, just the feeling that his family is feeling, and you know, we all just praying for him, their family. And just gotta continue to keep his family strong, you know.
And I just want to.
So rest in peace, Terrence Clark, man. 2001 to 2021. It's another unfortunate Kobe Bryant type situation, man. Another great player. And one thing about that whole Kobe Bryant saying is he's one of the players that had the Mamba mentality. You know what I mean? He went to Kentucky, balled out as a freshman. Declared for the draft here. He said, Big Blue Nation, I'm out of here. I'm going to the league. It's my dream. I'm out. And then, bam, you know, this happens. And when I found out the news, I was like, who is this kid? Let me look him up. And this kid is big. You know what I mean? He was definitely going to be probably a top pick. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate to see him go down this path. I don't think he did anything wrong. It's just another unfortunate event, a car accident. So like I said, rest in peace, Terrence Clark. Will not be forgotten here on the Rick T podcast. We just want to show our respects to you and your family, man. So tough times, but man, hopefully they get through it. We'll be praying for them, praying for their family. And like I said, hopefully they can just make it through it stronger. You know what I mean? No cap, he plays just like Kobe, is what Lil J6 says. That's what I'm saying, dude. He was crazy.
He was first in his play style. It was crazy.
He was good, bro. Someone I do want to talk about in the NBA though. Russell Westbrook, man, and let me take this off so you guys can see it. 37 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists, another triple-double. And this was a couple days ago, so we might have already been closer to this. Another triple-double for the Brody. He's only 7 away from tying Oscar Robinson's all-time record. Not a surprise to me. I think Brody deserves it. Russell Westbrook is easily Mr. Triple-double nowadays in our generation. He's what I know as a triple-double. And everyone, when I got 2K and stuff like that, everyone wants to make their guy like Russell Westbrook. And that's the most exciting player to play like, to watch. You know what I mean? If you don't got handles, people love to see you jam on people, talk shit, stuff like that. So shout out to Russell Westbrook for being 7 away from breaking out that record. Lil J says, Russ is a hoe. I for real hate him. I don't know what your problem is. I don't know what your problem is with Russell Westbrook.
You can hate maybe his character, but you can't hate on his game. As much as the Thunder gave him a lot of triple doubles,
he's like, he's a hoe. I for real don't like him.
Yeah, that man's been putting up triple doubles like it's nothing since OKC.
Since OKC, bro, Mr. Triple Double, and he's really loyal, bro. I get he's been around a couple teams and stuff like that, but he was the one that didn't want to leave OKC. He wanted to stay there and build that from the ground up, where the other players were like, "Yeah, no, we're not winning. Get me out of here. I can't do this with you." And he was like, "Without you guys, I'm still gonna stay, and we're gonna bring some players in and build around it." But unfortunately, that train, kind of got off its rail, and now he's with the Wizards balling out. So shout out to Brody. Russell Westbrook. But one thing I do want to talk about is Steph Curry, man. Dwayne Wade said something to Steph Curry a couple years ago about all of his championships. He said, enjoy him because it's not going to last forever. Steph Curry said, yeah, whatever. As long as I got my team with me, it's going to last forever. And this year, Steph Curry finally replied to him because of the way the Golden State Warriors have been playing. They're not the top dog anymore. So Dwayne Wade said, enjoy it. Because it's not ever guaranteed to be this way for the rest of your career. And that was at the 2018 finals. And then this year, 3 years later, Steph Curry said, when you're on top, it's hard to see anything other than when you're on top and being in that environment. So he's starting to see that the Warriors, without a big five powerhouse team in Golden State, it's not as easy for him to win. And if you look at it, Golden State is kind of fighting for that play-in spot at 10. They're 30-30. I do believe they play today. We'll see again in a minute. But like I said, he finally realized he's grown up a little bit and saying, man, I don't know if it's as easy as I always thought it would be. So Jello, do you kind of give Steph Curry respect for coming out 3 years later and kind of saying, Dwayne Wade, you're right, like I should have believed you? Or do you think Dwayne Wade was just right from the jump and Steph Curry was just being, kind of a cupcake writer?
Well, of course Dwayne Wade's right. There's no way it lasts forever. It didn't for Kobe. I mean, everyone says LeBron, but I don't think that's going to continue anymore. For example, like the only person where championships continued through that entire career was Bill Russell, and that's it. So of course it's going to come to an end. There's no way you keep every player. There's no way your team can always stay healthy. But look at Curry. Curry has just absolutely obliterated the record for most consecutive games with over 30 points. This man was dropping 38, 45, 47, 42, just every single game. But it's not him who's the problem. It's his team that's the problem. And that's the issue. KD was never going to stay there. He won his championships. There's no way he was going to stay there his whole career. It just wasn't going to happen. Clay being out for 2 full seasons now is going to be an issue. But I think they get those players back, or even if they move on to another team, I think no doubt they can get back to winning again. That team, they're just playing with a lot of first, second-year guys, and that will never win you a championship.
Yeah.
Because it took Curry 7 years to get his first one. You never win with first and second year guys like they are. And Curry's still balling. There's no issue with Curry at all this year. It's just the team. But that's how it goes. When you win championships, players leave. Players chase that check because they got their championship. Outside of the Tampa Bay Bucks, every other team in history, you've always lost somebody.
Put yourself in their situation, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
That's what you play for, is a championship. If you got it, wouldn't you start playing for some money? Exactly. I would.
And that's why it always happens. There's no doubt about it. It's exactly like when in college, when you win a national championship, while your draft stock goes up, even if you didn't do much, it goes up because you're on the team that won the championship. It's the same kind of thing with that.
Yeah, I agree. Justin, how are you feeling on Steph Curry saying it, man? Do you think it's do you think he stepped up on time, or do you think he should have stepped up 3 years ago and kind of said, you're right, Dwayne?
Yeah, no, I think we pumped the brakes here. You know what I'm saying? I think Steph Curry's still got a long time, and it's obvious. I mean, it's basketball. If you don't have the right players, you're not going to be winning. And Steph Curry's throwing up all these numbers and, hasn't been winning many games. I mean, lately they've kind of been battling back, but, it's not looking very good for them this year playoff-wise. So at the end of the day, I think it boils down to them gelling this season. Curry's having a hell of a season. I think that'll roll over to next year, and then you get a healthy Clay back if he stays, a Warrior, and then things might get back on track for them. But the West Conference, in my opinion, is the hardest conference.
It is, bro. This is the playoff standings right now, bro. It's getting tough. Utah sitting at the top, nice. Phoenix, Clippers, Denver, Lakers, Dallas, Portland, Memphis, all in, along with San Antonio and Golden State in the playoff or play-in spot right now. New Orleans, I think, is a little too far back, but they're still trying. But it's literally between Portland, Memphis, San Antonio, and Golden State to see who kind of takes that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree with that. If we're going to get into the Western, let's get into the Eastern. We got Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, New York, Atlanta, Boston, Miami, and Charlotte. Along with Indiana and Washington right on the heels. Chicago's not far back, neither is Toronto, so they will all probably be planning for that play-in spot in the play-in tournament here soon, so that'll be exciting to see. But Boston, me and Jello have a bet on Boston and Charlotte, and they're playing right now. Charlotte's up 54-40, so come on, Boston. Come on, Boston. I need this win, baby. I need this one. But it, like I said, in the East, it kind of matters a little bit more in the East because they're also close in record. But the West is good. It's fun to watch the West. Like Justin said, it's easily the more competitive division as of now. You know what I mean? It didn't always used to be that way, but now it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%. How do you think the Nuggets will do with Murray out in his injury?
Oh,
please, I was about to say, please just don't get Jello started, dog. He's going to talk for hours on Murray.
I'll do 10 seconds really quick.
Go ahead.
All right. Lakers are still 35-25. The Nuggets are still 18 games above 500 right now. Since we've lost Murray, we've lost one game, I think, maybe two. Okay, we lost two because I think we lost the game he got hurt in. But we're doing just fine with the players we have. We just signed Austin Rivers to the 10-day contract. We got a veteran point guard in there. We're still waiting to get Morris back. We got Campazzo. We still have that team. And, last night, Jokic casually dropped 24. Michael Porter casually dropped 39 points. I get it was a Rockets team, but still, they've been doing this for a while. I think we'll be just fine. Murray's great, don't get me wrong. He's that sleeper, but the Nuggets are working more on getting ahead of time and then just keeping it that way. So,
to be honest, Philadelphia is the best team in the East right now to me.
Well, Jay, you say that after the Bucks just beat them by 37 points. Do you know why Embiid and Simmons can't stay healthy?
And then Simmons is doo-doo. Simmons is doo-doo.
I don't care. Embiid is averaging 30 points a game, but he's played like 12 games. Like, they can't stay healthy.
I'm like, it's easy to average 30 in 12 games. I could do that.
Someone's going to breathe on Embiid, and he's going to, like, snap a vertebrae. They are not the best. They will not go anywhere. Kawhi can't make them cry because they're in the East, but Durant will probably make them cry this year, if not Giannis. Embiid likes to cry because they can't get past and get to the finals. It will never happen. The Sixers will never do that.
I feel like we're forgetting about the Celtics here. What are we talking about? Why can't the Celtics make Kevin Durant cry?
Teams. I'm sorry. The Celtics are good. They're picking it up. Don't get me wrong. They don't have a chance.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
Like, they'll make it to the playoffs, but they don't have a chance outside.
We're like Denver in the playoffs, though. We're dangerous. Once you get us in that tournament, you don't want to play us. But we beat Philadelphia year after year in that tournament.
All right. Who's going to guard Durant? Or even if Embiid plays, who's going to play Embiid? Who's going to play Giannis on your team? Robert Williams? No.
Okay, so Durant, I feel like, okay, so this is my thing. We can handle the Nets. We have players that can cover Durant, and I'm not going to say great, but we have players that can match up to him. But when you start talking about the 76ers and Embiid and shit, yeah, I don't know who can cover that.
Okay, all right, look at this. I'm just going to throw this out here. Tatum, Brown, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre's doo-doo. I was just watching him mess up 7 times the other night.
All right, still, you got small ball versus big ball, but this is like really big ball that will just like
big ball with handles and a shot.
And Kevin Durant, yes, that's the only difference. Plus, you got Harden and Kyrie at that point. That's the only, like I said this before, it's the only thing the Celtics are struggling in, and why I think they should have gone for Nikola Vucevic, not Evan Fournier, and picked up another small guy. But we'll just see. I'm not trying to hate on the Celtics, but it's just how
it's honest. Yeah, it's honest. Jalen says, and Celtics are the Saints of the NBA. They get every year. Wow. Base Crow, fellas, can I get an oh yeah? Oh yeah. Shout out to Base Crow. Thank you for tuning into the Risky Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. I don't know what that was, but I was with it. With it.
Oh yeah.
Coming down to the end of episode 2, I don't want to get your comment on this, Joe. I just want to show you how the MVP is going around America, bro. So according to Twitter, this is how the MVP voting is based around America. So
why are they
Oregon is going crazy for Lillard. Philly and New York is going pretty big for, Joel Embiid. Most of the Midwest is Jokic, and the rest is, Curry's got a lot of votes. I just don't see Curry winning it. I just don't see him like actually winning it. Would they give it to him?
It's got to be Jokic.
So he's one of my favorite. All right, 2 seconds. Curry's one of my favorite players. He's won it before. If it's not Jokic, I think it's Curry, but I think it's going to be Jokic, and I'm done. You can't let Curry's records go by the wayside this year.
Honestly, I don't think it should be Curry. There's Jokic for MVP. All 3 of us are voting for
Joker right now too, or something like that. They had what was it? Jokic at like -400, and then someone else was at +400, and like Curry was like +15, and like Giannis or LeBron was like +2000. So who knows what it's going to be in the end of it.
Very true.
Yeah, it's gonna get intense, man. But plays or games of the day while we're winding down the Rick T podcast, season 2, episode 2, man. If you guys are in the NBA, Celtics playing the Hornets, Suns playing the Nets, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Cavs, Wizards, Bucks, Hawks, Pacers, Magic, Kings, Warriors. First game is started at 11, so Celtics and Hornets are playing right now. Like I said, the score is 63-52. I'm watching that right now. Let's go, Celtics. Pull this one out. If you guys are not interested in watching some basketball, go ahead and watch some baseball. We have the Athletics versus the Orioles, Mariners versus the Red Sox, Yankees versus Indians, Royals versus Tigers, Nationals versus Mets, Blue Jays versus Rays, Diamondbacks versus Braves, Rangers versus White Sox, Pirates versus Twins, Angels versus Astros, Reds versus Cardinals, Brewers versus Cubs, Phillies versus Colorado Rockies, Marlins versus Giants, and Diamondbacks versus Braves. Man, if you're interested in seeing the baseball American League standings, here they are. Here are the National League standings. You already know Colorado's at the bottom. But if you guys are not interested in watching NBA or MLB, go ahead and watch NHL. Bruins play the Penguins starting at 1. Sabres play the Rangers. Devils play the Flyers, and then Blue Jackets play the Lightnings, ending at 5. And this is the NHL playoff standings as of now, man. If you see an X next to their name, they have clinched a playoff spot. So Vegas, Avalanche, and Minnesota all have a playoff spot. Let's go, Avalanche. Bring it home to Colorado, man. Like I was saying earlier, Rick T Podcast Draft Extravaganza is on Thursday. Draft starts at 6, but our show starts 15 minutes sooner, so we can chop it up for 15 minutes to the fans and get ready for what's about to happen. So like I said, Draft Night Extravaganza on Thursday. If you guys are interested in joining us for that, definitely DM Rick_T Podcast or Eric Holmes Jr. _ on Twitter if interested. On Wednesday, the Talk Your Talk show, man, with myself, I'm doing the interview from Fan Control Football Wild Aces wide receiver Andrew Jamil, man. We're going to find out what he's up to nowadays, and we're going to see what he has going on for the future of Fan Control Football and himself, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Rick T Podcast Season 2, Episode 2 today. Got a lot of new viewers, got a lot of new viewers, chatters, everybody, man. We got a lot of new sharers. I appreciate all you guys for doing what you guys do to bring us this far on the Rick T Podcast, man. We wouldn't have made it to Season 2 without any of you guys, and we couldn't make it any farther without you guys, man. So Justin, Jello, I appreciate you guys for joining me. I hope to have you guys on. Actually, I know I'll have both of you guys on Thursday, so I'm hella excited for that. If you guys can, definitely go tune into the Talk Your Talk show on Wednesday, talking to Andrew Jamil. It's going to be a great conversation. But that's all we have for today on the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. Justin, Jello, you guys got anything to say, man, before we bounce out of here?
Man, thanks for having me on. It's a fun time, like always. I really enjoyed all the calls and texts from all the viewers. So go ahead, subscribe, and follow to all our pages, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Jello, what about you?
We got big news. Giveaway. We got a couple things. We're going to be doing a giveaway. So we got this bad boy right here. Ricky Jackson. This is gonna be one of the items. And then we got this bad boy as well. I can get out of my house a little bit too. Sam Bradford ball. All gonna be, you gotta view, you gotta be ready, you gotta be in the chat, you gotta, and it's gonna be random. I ain't saying when, I ain't putting questions on ahead of time.
He's just doing it.
Yep. We're gonna I was gonna talk to Eric to see if I could be at his house for the draft night so we could go through the comments like that. So we'll see the first one and you win it. That's all it is. You just gotta hit us up and we got you. So
let's do it, bro. I'm completely with it, bro. I'm not gonna go to work on Thursday, so I'm fully with it.
The whole day. I'm taking a whole day off for that.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm not going to work. I'm gonna be prepared from morning to end of the day, bro. I'm gonna be ready for it. A lot of guests on that one. Hosts me, Justin, Jello, Jason representing the Giants, Dallas representing the Colts, and we do have a couple other people joining us, man. So like I said, it's going to be a great night. Draft Night Extravaganza on Thursday. It's going to be wild, bro. Everyone has been so ready for this draft. Football has been, kind of low. It started off hot with free agency, it kind of dropped down, but now it's getting ready to start again. I did start my fantasy football league, so I'll get you guys the information on that, and we're going to get that started soon. But like I said, this is the Rick T Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. We'll see you guys Wednesday for Talk Your Talk and Thursday for the Rick T Podcast Draft Extravaganza. I'll catch you guys later. I am Eric Holmes, along with Justin Sanchez and Jello Rexroad. We are out. Peace.
Oh, yeah.